I'd like to call this meeting to order for the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors for December 19th, 2023. Roll call, please, Mr. Veeder.
Hall.
Here.
Little.
Here.
Schwartz.
Here.
Trelka.
Here.
Leyland.
Here. Would everyone please join us for a moment of silence as we reflect on our actions today? Thank you. Would you please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1 is the agenda received as proposed or as amended.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Agenda is received. Item 2 is public comments. Is there anyone in the audience today that would like to speak on something that is not on today's agenda? Would you please go to the podium, give us your name and address and your reason for speaking? Thank you.
Good morning, Board. My name is Justin Jensen, Cedar Falls, 510 College Street. I'm with Senator Joni Ernst's office. Just wanted to come and hear what's going on today and just thank you for your service. Happy holidays.
Thank you very much. Anyone else that would like to speak? Is there anyone on Zoom that would like to speak in public comments? No. Moving on to item 3, presentations, department highlights of 2023. And thank you to those that were able to prepare something already for today. You know, this time of year, and as we're coming to a close of the year, so many times we kind of recap comments and projects and things like that in the month of December. And so I asked some of the department heads if they'd mind doing some highlights for 2023. It said what happened in January seems so long ago that we've all kind of lost track of all the busy things we've been doing and the successful projects. So, Mike, you get to go first, and we thank you for that. Nice to see a PowerPoint too. 'Cause
All right,
yeah,
yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, probably witness the first Christmas miracle here of the season if I can get through this.
I love it.
I need it out there,
This
really
is
bad.
great. Yeah, this is great.
But anyway, Mike Hendrickson, Director of Blackhawk County Conservation. Happy to be here today. Happy to give this presentation. First, just a real quick preface, and I got a few slides to go through to show some of our major projects. But it's been a wonderful year in conservation. You know, we've continued to just move higher and higher and higher since COVID. Outdoor recreation has gone wild, and it continues to grow, I think. And we've witnessed so many people that maybe didn't kayak, maybe didn't canoe, maybe didn't hike, maybe didn't bike, that are doing it now, and it's a wonderful thing. And we're so happy that Blackhawk County is able to provide over 9,000 acres of outdoor recreation for these people, and they are using it. And so we've got a lot of major projects going on. Our campgrounds, you know, are doing wonderfully. I've been here a long time. I've never gone through 3 seasons with basically no flooding. Flooding hurts us. We have a lot of river bottom ground. Some of our campgrounds are in those river bottom areas, and so we do suffer a lot. And so this has been amazing. And our numbers show it. We're halfway through our fiscal year, obviously. Our campgrounds are way above half. They're going to meet the revenue barring massive flooding, and you know, we don't see that. So it's been wonderful. So with that, I'm going to move through some of our major projects, and we'll go from there with questions in the end. First of all, our septic system replacement. It's exciting to talk about that today, huh? But anyway, Hickory Hills, they were on the spotlight. We had on the left, you can see our open lagoon system that very, very aged and outdated. We had been given a time frame from the Iowa DNR to get that replaced, and we started that process, and we did beat the deadline by a couple of years, but it was a long process, and but the end result is on the right. That is our new mound lagoon system. It should function for the next 50, 60 years. We hope without too many problems. The old open lagoon is gone. It was all pumped out. It was the sludge was removed and hauled away, and taken care of via DNR permitting, and it was filled in. So we're very happy that we have that moving forward. Hickory Hills is a very, very busy park, very beautiful park, and that mound septic system, with the exception of the residents down there, actually works to service that whole park. So had we gone down or been shut down, that park would have been shut down. So thank you for all your help with that. That's a huge project to get off our plate, and we've got it finished and moving forward. Cedar Valley Nature Trail, you hear us talk about that all the time. We thank you for the ARPA dollars that we're able to go into that. What you're seeing here is Division 1, the southern end, the 9.44 miles that we're going to hard surface. In that 9.44 mile section, we did have one bridge replacement, the bridge over Mud Creek. That's a beautiful bridge now, very nice. We had two large culverts that needed to be replaced. You can see those two, where those two replacements were, and they will begin the paving, and with this beautiful weather they've had in the fall, they are still working on prepping, and so come spring of 2024, when it warms up enough, they will be ready to go ahead and start hard surfacing. They're going to have everything else done and ready to go. Approaches to the bridges, all those things are going to be completed. So the weather has really been our friend. So from a time frame standpoint, this thing's going to be right where it needs to be. And it's been a 50-year project, but when that's finished and Lynn County finishes their 6.5 miles and they're right on course with us, that trail will be hard surfaced from Evansdale all the way to Cedar Rapids. Pretty big accomplishment for Lynn County and Blackhawk County both. So wonderful thing. Our big project right now, I promised a lot of pictures. I don't have a lot of pictures now, but staff is gathering those. The Casey Lake restoration is well on its way. As you'll see on the left, on November the 13th, that was just before they started to pull the plug. And 1 month later, you can see pretty much sheet water out there. It's even lower than that now. The last little bit has gone out pretty quickly. There probably will be a little pool down by the outlet that may not completely drain, but it's going to serve our purposes very well. Again, Mother Nature's been wonderful. That project is moving ahead of schedule. Contractor is telling us that's actually dewatering quicker than he thought, and he'll be able to, he's going to start excavating sooner than he actually thought too. So that's wonderful moving forward. And again, I'll have pictures along the way as they change, and we've got a lot of pictures. Really, really something to see, to go down there and take a look at that right now. Our Siegel Cove shower facility was one of our ARPA projects. It's finished now, with the exception of the sidewalk that we'll need to put in come spring. But that park has never had a flush toilet system and shower system. But again, around the COVID time, maybe slightly before that, this little roadside park really picked up. We used to hope that it would pay for its electricity. It does much more than that now. There's a large group of people that like to use that, and it's busy all the time. We think this will even make it better, and those people that have been utilizing it are thrilled over this. So really neat addition to that little park, and kind of just revived it and gave it a little bit of new life. So we're very excited about that. Our natural resources work. In the bottom, you'll see the little red tractor there. That was part of our FY24 budget on our capital list. That thing, we got it about a month and a half ago, and I don't know that it's not had a day it hasn't been out working. Our pollinator program is taking off crazy. It was a little slow to get started. We planted a little over 42 acres this year of pollinator. We've got more than that lined up for the spring already, and phone calls and requests are still coming in. So we've got a lot to do with that. We burned over 375 acres this year, and that's just prairie management, and to keep those woody species down, keep some of those invasive species out, and replenish those prairies. So we got a lot done this year, and again, the weather was huge. Part of our prairie management is haying. We did hay 81 acres, and we sell that hay, so that's revenue for county conservation, and you'll see it in our budget. So our natural resources work is going pretty full bore right now. School of the Wild, I talked about that last year at budget time, and I I hoped that we were able to sell you on that, and we were. We needed some help with that, and you certainly provided that for us. And this has just been absolutely wonderful. It turned out to be everything we thought it would be. 445 kids got to go through that. Those kids got out of class for a week to study prairies, wetlands, forest management. We put them through hunting, fishing, and trapping seminars with our staff. We had lots of great speakers there, and the response from the school has been incredible. We're already moving towards next year, but this was big for the Cedar Valley, and it's going to continue to grow. We hope to get more schools involved as we move forward. But this is a wonderful, wonderful project. It's part of their curriculum, and those kids were. It was so much fun to see them out there every day, and how excited they were, and the things that they got to do. So their questions are amazing. We were really able to provide something that not a lot of other county conservation systems are able to provide. These are some of our partners in that, and that's another thing. When you try to go to pull something like this off, you do find lots and lots of partnerships, and they're partnerships that you can use down the road. And this has just been wonderful. So our community events, our fundraisers, they all just went crazy. We sold out of everything. Our Maple Syrup Festival sold out its tickets. That's our next one up come March, and we're looking forward to that. It always goes really, really well, and people really enjoy that. Under the Harvest Moon sold out in about 4 days this year, and it turned out really well. Great. We met our goals with all of that, and everyone had a wonderful evening that night. Our Winter Wonderland has just concluded. We had Santa and Mrs. Santa there, and kids had a lot of fun. The Nature Center is decorated quite festively right now. If you haven't been over there to take a look at that, we had training all day yesterday over there, and it's a great setting. Really, really festive and fun. So all of our fundraisers did really, really well. And I couldn't leave without promoting our light show. We have 2 more nights, everyone. It's gone really, really well. We've got great numbers of cars coming through. Last weekend was very, very busy, and we think it's the best one that we've been able to put together so far. And we're really looking forward to next year, and we'll keep picking up on new ideas. We're getting new partners, and it's just been wonderful, and it's so much fun. I took our family down there last weekend, and it was fun to go through. So with that, any questions I can answer for you?
Oh, wow. Not just PowerPoint.
I didn't create that.
I
I'm just going to tell you, I didn't create
You're
that.
trying to impress. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great. That was a great presentation. Any questions?
No questions, but what a really excellent year, and hats off to you and all of your staff.
Thank you very much. Yep, we've got a great staff.
I was going to say, everybody's been so busy, I said, with all the projects that just operationally, and then to have the ARPA projects all added to it, I said, like, I know everybody's just, their heads are swimming, so thanks so much. I just thought there's so much that gets forgotten through the year, so thank
Yep.
you.
Yep, lots to happen. So thank you.
Yes, thanks very much. Yeah. Now you think you got to top that as well. Thanks, Kathy.
Okay, good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, County Engineer. As you know, we do have a large budget and a large staff, and we have a large network that we need to take care of. We do get a lot done every year, and I do try to keep you updated throughout the year, so I'm just going to give you some very brief highlights today, and I've given you the PowerPoint. Tom, I can email that to you as well. So just very briefly, of course, every year we do resurfacings, asphalt resurfacing. We were able to resurface a portion of Beaver Valley Road this year, as well as Washburn Road. This is a photo from Beaver Valley. And we were also able to try a new form of hot mix asphalt out on Ridgeway and Main and Mount Auburn roads. It's more of a self-healing mix. It's been used quite a bit by the Iowa DOT, and counties are starting to use it now. So it's been down about 6 months, and we are continuing to investigate how it performs. Of course, every year we need to keep maintaining that system of our roads and bridges, and that includes routine maintenance such as seal coating, crack filling, pavement markings. You can see some of the statistics. We place miles and miles of pavement markings, 122 miles of centerline markings every year, 241 miles of white edge line painting, and that was what we completed this year. We are moving into more of a system where we're doing approximately 30% of our paved roads every year. We're going into a more structured rotation of our pavement markings to maintain a better service for the public. You can see rumble strips. We do regrind those when they become when the sound is not what it should be. When people drive over the rumbles, we do maintain those by grinding them. And then, of course, we do seal coat a few miles of pavement every year. Our contract bridge this year was the Pointer Road Bridge. I've showed you photos of that throughout the year. You have done the final acceptance on that. That did come in under contract costs. This was a failing structure just east of Gilbertville. It was replaced under contract this year. Now today there is a new 140-foot long structure in its place. Our county bridge crew, we are so fortunate to be able to have a crane. We are fortunate to have 4 members of that bridge crew staff who have the knowledge and the expertise to build our small bridges. I've told you how we build the beams. They are building the 4 beams in the winter months when they're not plowing snow, and then they get hauled out onto site during the summer months. You can see the original structure here on the right side of the page, and it was built in 1940, not 1490. Approximately getting to be quite an old structure. It was a very short structure. We did replace it with a structure there on the left, and this was put together by the county bridge crew. You can see the structure. We are replacing these on the gravel road system, and it does have guardrail in place, so a much safer and a bridge. Our bridge crew, as I said, we are fortunate they are able to do other activities as well. I did tell you about a bridge that was closed just 3 weeks ago during our routine bridge instructions. We were able to get that, to go out there and get that replaced last week. This was the abutment where right below the dirt line there, there were some very deteriorated timber pile. The bridge crew went out there and drove the steel H pile down through the deck and then put a helper beam, a beam spanning to support the structure. The bridge was either reopened on yesterday, or I believe it should be reopened in the next day or two, so that will ease that traffic flow down there. This is in the southwest portion of the county, south of Hudson. Some other work that the bridge crew has done, they are able to, they sprayed some deck sealer. We're trying some new deck sealers on some of our older bridge decks. Moving on to some of our other routine maintenance, of course, we need to resurface the gravel road rock. We typically do this on a 3-year basis, so we buy a lot of rock in this county to go on the gravel road system. You can see that we bought almost 57,000 tons of rock at a cost of $680,000. That's one of our large components in our budget every year that I tell you about. We do place spot rock in a few places, and that depends on the weather. For example, in the spring, if we have a wet spring and we have soft road conditions, we're out there placing spot rock. The past few years, we've had really good spring, so we haven't had to place a lot of spot rock. You can see some of the other statistics on all the product we use: sand, diesel, salt in the winter months. And then finally at the bottom there, we've spent about $150,000 in calendar year 23 on parts for our equipment, to keep our equipment running. This shows a few slides of some of the other miscellaneous work that we had accomplished with our secondary roads crew staff. We have in the middle there, you can see what we call an edge rut. That means that the gravel or the rock has come away from the asphalt pavement, creating an edge. In this case, that edge was approximately 2 inches, and so this, of course, would be a hazard to the driving public if they were to run off the road at highway speeds or 55 miles per hour. The reaction is tending to jerk back into the lane of traffic, And overcorrection can cause, obviously, serious consequences, and accidents in particular. So we are out there diligently trying to keep those edge ruts filled in throughout the year. When we place rock on our shoulders in the winter, unfortunately, one of the products of snow plowing is we do tend to plow off some of that rock. We are able to retrieve some of that rock that has fallen onto the shoulder or sometimes into the upper part of the ditch. This is just a picture of us retrieving some of that rock and working on the shoulders to get those in better condition. Some of our other activities this year have been creating maps. As you know, we have a GIS technician. His time is split between the engineer's office and the conservation department. We are using GIS for everything nowadays to keep track of all of our assets. I've told you about that repeatedly. And this is one of our typical maps that shows our 5-year plan. And you'll get a good look at that in March when we submit our 5-year plan to the DOT. And then our GIS tech has done quite a bit of work for conservation, making them various maps and everything from their campgrounds to park maps. We're able to have our roadside biologist has been here now for a full year. These are some of his accomplishments. We are seeding more native prairie out in our ditch. That upper right photo shows a ditch clean out. It gets reseeded with native prairie in most cases. A few times a farmer may request a non-native seed. And then we are cutting, trying to keep some of our larger trees down. This year has been really good to be able to get into some of the lower lying areas, the river bottoms that haven't been flooded out in past years. And then our biologist has spent some time with conservation working on roadside as well as native prairie burns. That will definitely be to our benefit in the future as we learn to take care of our native prairies. Couple more slides. We are becoming more safety conscious. This here in the picture, you can see that green guardrail system that we installed. We've been working on with Brad Metcalf to improve our safety, everything from hearing conservation, getting this guardrail system on. These would be the bridge slabs that consist of our small bridges are made of these 4 slabs. As we are placing those slabs, we needed to have a better safety guardrail system in place. We didn't have a system before, but now we have this system in place. It does allow our guys to be safer and not fear falling off that edge there. We are working on making sure we have PPE on hand for our employees and making sure that they use it. And then we are also increasing our quarterly safety meetings as we can. Those are difficult to get accomplished in the winter months. In the office, we have a few new staff members. We were able to hire a new civil engineering technician. He's been with us now about 6 or 7 months, and we are working our way through an office specialist again. And as I told you, we are we're working on pursuing a new replacement for our Longfellow facility, our main maintenance facility. And then lastly, we provide a lot of direct customer support. So this would be direct support to our county employees, whether that's through driveway permits. If they build a new home out in the county, for example, they need to come to us to get a driveway permit. We issue more oversized, overweight permits than any other county in the state. Almost 35, it will surpass probably 3,500 this year. So when they're hauling oversized, overweight vehicles on county roads, state law requires them to get a permit from us. That is now most of that is an automated system with those carriers. And again, we process all sorts of tile crossings, 911 signs, all of these permits for county residents. Can I answer any questions?
I know that the brining was something that I think we first started experimenting with just a couple years ago. I was just wondering how that has been going.
So it's been going okay. We purchased brine from the city of Evansdale. We have a large tank that we're able to go out and apply it we primarily apply it on our truck routes. We just have one tank and one hooked to one of our tandem axle dump trucks. So we are able to pre-apply that brine before a storm on about 7 or 8 miles, primarily Cedar Wapsie and Elk Run Road. So
Okay.
it's been working well. We would like to expand our capabilities and do that on more routes, but that is going to require us to purchase a little bit different equipment, which, right, as you know, the status of our large dump trucks has been very difficult in the last few years, so we've just focused on this most recent purchase. We've just been focusing on getting the dump trucks that we've traditionally needed and used. Thank you, good question.
Kathy, the GIS improvements and having that staffing person and all the mapping that's done now, are those used like on your website, or how are you using most of those?
So it's used in a variety of ways. It allows us to keep track of our assets where we can go in on the computer and see in our sign database where all of our signs are, for example, when they were installed, what the retroreflectivity of those signs is, because that's a requirement now. It allows us to make those maps and be able to post that visual component of our 5-year plan, for example. We do make maps that sit in the office, for example, the county maps that are on 11.5 by 7 pieces of paper. Our GIS technician makes those. We print those off. They're available to the public. We are able to help other county departments by providing them with a map. For example, we've provided the attorney's office in the past with different mapping exhibits. So it's used in a variety of ways, but the main purpose is to give us a way to manage our assets, and Conservation Department a way to manage those assets and be able to see that visually and manage them.
I knew that was the main, the 50-50 split was kind of for the sharing, but it sounds like other departments are as well, being able to take advantage of that with your help too. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Kathy? No?
No,
Okay.
but an excellent year.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much. No, I know, Colleen was under the weather, but she was going to be able to join us by Zoom today, so general assistance, and I see her face there, so hope you're feeling better, but thanks for joining us.
Yep, I am here, so good morning, Colleen, General Assistance. Sorry I couldn't be there today, but I didn't get a PowerPoint or anything ready, so it's hard to follow up those two, but I'll do what I can here. So first, I just want to thank the Board of Supervisors for giving the departments a chance to highlight some of the accomplishments of 2023. I just think that's a really nice gesture. And most of all, I just want to thank you guys for the continued support of the General Assistance Program. The first thing I take most pride in is the partnerships that we have with Eastside Ministerial, Jesse Cosby, and Operation Threshold. We are in our 20th year of that partnership, so I think that's huge. That's just a long time. They're just a huge piece of the puzzle for all the distribution of the rent and utility funds for Blackhawk County. So anything I list as an accomplishment for the General Assistance Program, they're just a huge part of, for sure. I think the biggest hurdle that we've overcome in 2023 is just we've gotten a lot busier again with all of the COVID funds that have been depleted. All of that's falling back on us again. The agencies have just done a really good job of picking up the pieces and getting back into the swing of it, because it's really changing back to what it was prior to COVID. So that's just been the biggest thing to accomplish, just to get back into the swing of that. Each intake is taking a lot longer than normal going into this fiscal year, just because we're trying to have the conversations with the clients, getting them back into the swing of things. For the rent utility moratoriums were awesome, but then it's just retraining the clients and getting them back in the path of getting used to how it was prior to COVID. So I think that's just taking a lot more of our time, but they're doing a really good job of trying to educate the clients and help them through that. The collaboration between all of the agencies in Blackhawk County was always strong ever since I've been around, but COVID has brought that to a utmost level. I can call any agency at any time and just get whatever the situation is at hand taken care of, so that's just really huge, and I really appreciate all the partnerships, not just with the 3 agencies that we partner with, but every agency in Blackhawk County. we just have a good working relationship with all of the hospitals, landlords, utility companies, funeral homes, pretty much everyone in Blackhawk County. Building these relationships goes a long way in being able to help figure out someone's situation when they're in front of you. And so I think that's just really huge. That's just always a work in progress. The longer somebody's in a position, the more they learn about all of the different things that the agencies do. So I think that we're really good at trying to build those relationships every single day. What we do is we assist with a lot more than basic needs. The information and referral piece is just huge. We take the time to try to figure out what we can do to help the client in front of us. Even if we aren't able to assist them with funds, we can just still assist them just by listening and trying to figure out their situation. I'm a firm believer that just answer your phone, listening to what the client needs, and returning phone calls is the #1 priority, and I just really stress that with the clients. I receive positive feedback of that every single day. Just people appreciate just somebody answering the phone, listening to them. So I appreciate the agencies taking the time to do that also. I try to attend as many meetings as possible with anything pertaining to the General Assistance Program, as far as the Homeless Coalition meetings, anything that pertains to any basic needs. I try to attend as many meetings as possible, as those are really helpful. And then I work really close with Johnny of the Hospitality House and the Salvation Army. I just really highly value those relationships. The Warming Center is set to open January 1st, so that's going to be huge. I just can't say enough for all the people that have put their time and energy and resources into making that new location happen. I went over and visited the other day, and it's just going to be an awesome atmosphere for that. I spent a lot of time volunteering there in the past years, and I hope to be able to do that again, because it's just a very rewarding place to be, and it's just very much appreciated for sure. The People's Community Health Clinic Homeless Outreach Program is another program that I work extremely close with on a daily basis, and they just do an awesome job with what they do every day. I have to give a shout out to Dr. Bickley, the Blackhawk County Medical Examiner. He's just a huge part of the assistance when it comes to the General Assistance Program, assisting with funerals. I probably work with him on about 10 or 15 cases a year where there's absolutely nobody that steps up to take care of the funeral services, and he's just more than willing to jump in, fill out the paperwork, get that to me, and we get that taken care of. So I just really appreciate him. Substance abuse committals were at their high during COVID, and I've seen that slow down, which that's a very good thing. Through the General Assistance Program, we assist with attorney fees and transportation fees pertaining to any substance abuse committals. We have increased our income guidelines the last 2 fiscal years, and I really think that that's definitely our biggest accomplishment, and it really has not affected the budget like I thought it might, but we are reaching households that we were never able to reach before, so that just really warms my heart to be able to assist households that have never been able to get the assistance before. We plan to increase those guidelines to match the poverty guidelines every year, so that will be a big improvement. The biggest change that I've made in the overall process of the General Assistance Program in the last year is I have just standardized the application process. Before, the 3 agencies just used their own paperwork, which was fine. I did audits on that. They did a great job, but we just standardized the application. All of those applications get sent to me. So I look at those, and I just can capture a lot more information on my end than I was able to do before. So I think that's just been a really nice improvement, and the agencies have really welcomed that and have done a really nice job with that. To date, for 2023, we have assisted 1,764 households. Of those, 1,170 were for rent. We assisted 56 households that were homeless. Of those, they have to be referred to us from the People's Community Health Clinic Homeless Outreach Workers. So that's somebody that's either on the streets or has spent their time in the shelter, they can't stay there any longer. People's help them find permanent housing. And then we can assist with up to $500 towards their first month's rent. So I think that's been a really successful thing in the last year to be able to assist 56 households in that situation. And then we're also able to assist 39 households with hotel stays. We really try to keep a tight hold on that, and people's homeless outreach workers help me through that process. The only time that we do motel stays is if somebody is on the streets and there's absolutely no room in the shelters, and then we'll just do a short stay. We automatically hook them up with Cedar Valley Friends of the Family or the People's Community Health Clinic homeless outreach workers who help them find permanent housing, and that just is a really smooth process. And usually we only have to help with 3 nights too. The most we usually ever do is 2 weeks, and that's unusual. And then we've assisted 413 households with utilities. I would say at least 50% of those are for water bills. We've just really been hit hard with water bills, and a lot of that is because of the COVID funds that were available for water. A lot of households weren't having to pay any of their water bills for 2 to 3 years, which was awesome at the time. It's just trying to get them retrained into getting that built back into their budget, so we've been working hard to get that done. We've only had to assist 7 individuals with medications, and that's just if somebody falls off of their medical, they reapply, we can fill the gap for them for a short period of time. We've only had to assist with 1 bus ticket for an indigent individual that was stranded in Blackhawk County to get them back to where they came from. And then we issued 231 denials. That's just if somebody is over income guidelines, or if they haven't made the necessary payments, or there's many different things. But even when we do deny somebody, we try to help them find a different place that might be able to assist them. So nothing real big and exciting for accomplishments for 2023, but what we do daily to try to assist those in need is what I consider an accomplishment each and every day. It's not easy, as we are not able to assist everyone with everything that they need, but we just try to make their situation as bearable as it can be for them at the time. Just helping someone is just a lot more than being able to assist them with funds. It's just about listening to them about their situation and getting them connected to the right resources and programs to ease their situation. So we just try to do the best we can every single day, and that's the most that we can do. And does anybody have any questions?
No questions. I was going to say thank you for all that you're doing. I'm sorry you weren't able to be here in person and that you made such an effort to get this information to us. I was going to say, I don't know if you've got a bulleted sheet or anything that maybe you could provide to us to just reinforce for us, I guess, some of those facts and numbers. That would be helpful too, but thank you so much.
Yep, I'll definitely email that out.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yes. Get better soon.
Yep, thanks.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning. IT, imagine that. Yeah.
Nerd stuff, sorry. Couldn't help it.
It's fun.
So-
Yeah.
Is that not going
Very neat.
Hold on.
He invested all of his time on this screen.
Yeah, invest all the time on the screen.
Yeah.
This is it.
That's it. That's all I got. No. Full disclosure, I did not make the slide, but it was too awesome not to use, so I wanted to share that because it had an animation. So.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to open up with a couple of statistics I'd like to share with you guys. So over the past year, we have closed 1,685 tickets. That's work orders. Anything that comes in could be anything from resetting a password to something really complicated. And I will say that that number is probably not accurate. It actually probably is higher because there's probably tickets in there that we haven't documented. But just to kind of give you an idea of what we worked on. The other number is security related, and so we have patched over 3,000 vulnerabilities. Those who know me know that I'm security focused. You might be tired of hearing that. Everything we do is security first, and that is also an inaccurate number because that number goes up by the day. And so 3,000 was what I talked with our security admin, Andrew Grimm, and that's what we could kind of determine what we have patched so far this year. We do these things in the shadows. We're kind of like ninjas, and we do it so that you guys don't have to worry about it. Our goal is to keep the county safe, and that's what we strive for. So just wanted to share the numbers, and it's kind of scary because some other entities and businesses patch way more than that in the 5-6 figures counts. So
I was going to say, for an entity this size, how does 3,000 seem like a lot?
It actually, to me, it seems low because I think the bad guys are craftier than ever, and so unfortunately, software always has vulnerabilities, and if you don't patch them, that leaves a backdoor for the bad guys to potentially exploit. So I feel that the number should be higher, but we have been safe here, and I like to think that we've done a really good job of protecting the county, and so that number will keep going up, but we will always strive to patch everything the moment we see it. So county website. I think some of you remember the old county website, and I think we can all agree that it was a little dated. So we formed a committee. And we did a refresh. That's just a screenshot of the main page. But we sent a random survey out to all staff and just kind of asking what they prefer, kind of giving examples of a few other websites that were also hosted by Civic Plus. And we appreciate the feedback. A lot of the same themes were there. The color was stale. It just needed a fresh new design. Navigation wasn't as quick as it could be, so we took all that into consideration. We formed this a website committee that consisted of Supervisor Hall, Carol Cornelius, Anna Knapp, Andrew Grimm for our department, Deb Stackhouse from our department, who is now retired, and myself. And I think we did a good job. We had lots of meetings. The process took a little bit longer, but I think overall people have been happy with the new website layout. And initial feedback was pretty positive, and hopefully you guys like the new website too. So,
Have we done any survey or like follow up with it? I guess
not in a while. I mainly based the feedback off of the responses from the email that I sent out to announce the new website. So we can certainly do that in the future. Just provide another survey because I would be curious what we can do to improve. We can always improve. There's always room for improvement. So it's a much better website. I think we could take it the next step further, but we'll get there.
Thanks.
All right, staff. So we actually have 2 new staff people this year. Toki Selby, who is half-time, so she splits her time with public health, and she serves as the public health information analyst, and she also does the role of a technology support specialist. And as you may know, that Deb Stackhouse retired from our department after over 30 years with the county, so that's awesome. And we hired Matt Strong in her place, and Matt started in August, and he actually comes from the Sheriff's Department. He previously worked as a master control technician. He is actually changing his career from criminology focus to IT, and he has been great. Both of them have been fantastic to be in our department. They are learning quickly. They have been very valuable. Couldn't speak more highly of them. They've been great. So. And you've probably seen them working around the county at some point. All right, security, more security stuff. So we improved security on county computers. So we installed this product called CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike is what we call an EDR. EDR stands for Endpoint Detection Response. Too many acronyms in IT, I'll give you that. Just think of it as a really powerful antivirus. It does more than just an antivirus. So typically an antivirus reacts to an infection. It reacts to something. Well, the problem is that's too late.
So what EDR does is constantly monitoring your computers, looking at suspicious activities and prepping and stopping it before it gets to that point. So it's proactive versus reactive. So CrowdStrike, like I said, very popular product. It is typically ranked #1 rated EDR product, probably next to Microsoft 1 and 2 in the industry. And this was thankfully provided by the state, specifically through the OCIO, that's the Office of the Chief Information Officer. They give it to us at no charge to all the counties, and it is a huge cost savings to the county, because if I were to buy the tier that we have right now, it would cost the county over $20,000 a year in subscription fees. So it is a fantastic software, and I'm very thankful that we get to use it for free. Yeah. Sheriff's Office. So we have done, as you may know, we have done a lot of work with the Sheriff's Office this year. They had their own internal IT staff that retired, so we resumed support of the Sheriff's Office. The biggest project that we did was to migrate their aging email server to Microsoft 365. So the rest of the courthouse was on 365, the county, but the sheriffs were not. So it was a huge undertaking, and I have to give lots of thanks to our security admin, Andrew Grimm. He single-handedly did this migration, which would take probably a month for some third-party professional company. He did it over the span of a weekend, and he worked tirelessly all 3 days to do the entire migration by hand. So hats off to him, and he definitely earned some flex time off of work. The sheriff was very thankful. Just full disclosure, their email server was very vulnerable. And so we made that our #1 priority. We checked off the most critical item off of their list. And now they are happy to have a brand new email system. They still have their own Blackhawk County Sheriff domain, but we're tied together under the same tenant. So you can email each other interchangeably. We also worked to help facilitate the upgrade of their internal Stanley jail system. That is a big undertaking. It is a very important system because it runs the cameras, the doors, the monitoring, all that stuff. Very important project. And I think we finally got that approved with ARPA funding, and now we're just kind of in a waiting list to get the next in line for the upgrade. So we look forward to that, and we're hoping that will kick off before the end of this fiscal year. Sooner the better. So. And lastly, we've been assisting them with the remodeling of their main office area. So the remodel is actually going really well. It looks great. If you guys haven't had a chance to look at it, peek in there sometime and take a look. They've done a lot of good things. They've created more space. Obviously, when you do that in the shuffle, it creates more work for us, but we are there to support the staff. We had to move a lot of people to temporary locations and then move them again and then move them again. We ran a lot of cabling, wiring, network jacks like this, new network equipment installed. Picture of that rack right there is a new network rack that's in the main office area in one of their closets. So it's took a picture of it because it's probably the last time you're going to see it nice and tidy. So lots of infrastructure that we're working on, but I think it's wrapping up here soon, and we'll put the finishing touches, and then we can't wait to move everyone back to their original offices, and I think it'll be great moving forward. So. It has been great working with the Sheriff's Office, getting to know the staff. They are the county's biggest department, and I'm not going to lie, it has been at times spread us pretty thin, but that's what we are here for. We support everyone else, so it's been a great experience, and we look forward to continuing that.
As far as the projects, the specific projects that you've had to work on this year, looking at them as a percentage, where do you think you are in the work being completed? I mean, not that you wouldn't always have ongoing projects, but for the majority, I guess, that we had some large ones this year.
Sure. I would say we're probably nearing 60-70%. The last piece was recently approved regarding the servers, so some of the things I won't count, like the Stanley jail system, because that's going to be done by a third party. They're going to do it themselves. And some of it was just kind of acquiring assets to finish the job, that's all. So unfortunately, it's kind of like a domino effect. You can't do one part without a prerequisite. So, but we're getting there. So once we receive this, the last set of servers that was recently approved, we can finally move forward with the last part. And so, yeah, we really look forward to upgrading to the latest, greatest technology. It doesn't sound exciting for a lot of people, but it's really exciting for us because we love to see everyone on the same page. So,
Thank you.
Big Woods Lake wireless upgrades. So if you would have told me that we had a park that had wireless, I would have guessed no, but we do. And previously that wireless was provided by CFU as a free service, but that equipment reached the end of life, and they said they weren't going to replace it. So we had to come up with a new solution to kind of accommodate all the renters and the campers. And I believe the old wireless had limited range. It was kind of centered around a specific area of the campground, correct? And so we got approved to get brand new equipment that we deemed as permanent equipment. However, unfortunately, supply chain reared its ugly head, so we weren't going to get that equipment in time. So what we had to do was purchase a solution in the meantime, and it actually has worked pretty well. I have to thank Clint and Andrew for being out there. I don't think they were up on the lift, were they?
No,
okay,
our guys
good,
did that.
good, because they were kind of scared of heights. So, but we installed brand new wireless access points. Won't bore you with all the particulars, but we increased the wireless access coverage tenfold. It was huge. And once we get in the spring, when everything thaws out, we'll replace that temporary equipment with the permanent equipment that we do now have finally shipped and received. And we will go one further and increase the coverage into the tent camping area. I think there's another back area of the campgrounds. So, and then that will also open up for expansion in case they want to open up new camping areas around the lake and things like that. So it'll give us the ability to expand all that. So, well, wireless technology is kind of cool. You just add another pole and another access point, and then they all just talk to each other, and they just keep spreading out. So it's kind of neat. All right, GIS. So I feel like GIS doesn't get enough attention, and I know that it's not everyone's excited about it because it is geography, and you're kind of wired differently to love geography. But I look at it as a great thing because it's great for transparency for the county. One of our biggest achievements is a soft launch of our county's Open Data Hub. So that is a website that provides all the parcel data that people can go in one-stop shop, get all the data that they're looking for. Because this is data that it's public information. They are welcome to it. We get lots of data requests from citizens, for-profit entities, and I'm not going to lie, it's very time-consuming. And we've completed over 55 data requests. That really isn't part of Natalie Nunez, our GIS coordinator's daily tasks, but she does it, and she balances it well. But hopefully, as we launch the Open Data Hub, that will reduce that number in the future so that she doesn't have to constantly deal with the data requests. So it's a slow process, but we're getting there. The Data Hub has not been published on our website yet. We have just sent out the link to strategic people, but the feedback has been very positive so far. And we're constantly making changes to that. We are having additional partnerships. We have partnerships with the city. So, like I said, it's a one-stop shop. That's the hope. So we've also started the process of moving the county towards a parcel fabric industry standard. That is going to be huge in terms of efficiency once we get that done. And there are other counties that have done that. The biggest county in Iowa, Polk, has already done that. I believe Lynn has done it as well. So it is the trend that's going. It's a slow process, but it's getting there. It's been around for about 2 years, but it's slowly making its way through the industry.
When do you envision the full launch of that?
I think we just we're hoping soon. We were actually talking about it, and we were hoping to have it launch like with this presentation. But there's a couple things she wasn't ready for, so we just don't want to. We want to make sure that it looks great and it's perfect. Soon. Very soon. I'm hoping within this next month.
Okay.
Yep, and we'll do that. So that'll be exciting, and we'll announce that, and it'll be right front and center on the website. So it's going to be great. And just lastly, improving the quality of data. When you're a geography person, you have this level of OCD, and that is making sure that map is the most accurate thing ever. And I don't have that OCD, but after working with Natalie for a while, I can appreciate it, and I understand that if data is not accurate, what good is it? It needs to be accurate in terms of the statistics, the geography, the layout, lines, all that stuff. So documentation, delivering, all that stuff, it's been greatly improved. So hats off to Natalie Nunez, our GIS coordinator. She's done quite a bit this year, and kind of just kind of behind the scenes. But I'd like to push GIS to the forefront, and you will see this coming year that we will definitely show you more of what we can do with it. And there's a lot more that we pay for that we haven't even gotten to yet. There's a lot of capabilities, and we can't wait to show you guys that.
Are there requests typically from the general public or from cities or?
It's mostly for-profit entities. A lot of real estate companies, they just want that data, and so one of the big things that they ask for is customizing that data, and that's what takes forever. And so we are going to spend less time customizing, and we are going to provide the data, and that's what we're required as a county to do, is provide the data, and that's it. Now, if they want us to customize the data, maybe do it for a fee, but it's very time consuming, and we got a lot of other projects to do. So, but
Good.
Yeah.
Food for thought. Thank you.
yeah. So elections. We assisted with elections with a lot of stuff this year. And I think they've had a stressful year too, because they implemented a brand new version of the poll book software that they use. It's called Precinct Atlas, and I'm sure Karen and crew were stressing a lot. So we are a support department. We love to help people. When we first started, and this was even my first year here last year, we kind of looked at their process, and we watched Josh, and he would spend hours setting up these laptops, hours, and it's just very tedious, each laptop one by one. And we're like, no, you need help. So as a department, we all came in and helped them do all the setup. We shaved hours off of his time. I'm sure they're all appreciative of it. Recently, we had to, because of the new software version, we had to wipe all 200 plus precinct laptops, and I will say each laptop takes about 2 hours to image and an additional 30 to 45 minutes of post-processing to get them all up to speed. And I think we did that twice this year because of testing phases. So there was a lot of time put into elections, but I think we finally got them to a point where they can do elections pretty efficiently. We do appreciate the new system. It is a long time coming, and I think it will work well for them in the future, and we will continue to support elections as much as we can, because elections are important. The other thing was election integrity, security. I didn't put that on there, but we also installed CrowdStrike on every single one of those poll book computers, plus all of the election department computers. Big deal to make sure that our elections are safe. All right, I think this is my last slide. Immutable backup. I know you guys use that word immutable all the time. You're like, what does that mean? So essentially it means it can't be changed. So last year we established a disaster recovery site, and that's at our conservation building. Thank you, Mike, for letting us use your building. And so every night, our backups that we do, they copy over to the disaster recovery site. So in case something bad happens to this building, we have another backup at an offsite building. So, and that's great. Backups are great. Everyone should be doing that. However, we had to go one step further. You guys are all familiar with ransomware. You're familiar with what it does. It infects everything. It takes everything down. Well, one of the things that bad guys do is they not only take you down, but they take down your backups. So the backups are just a file, but they can encrypt that file so the backups are completely useless. So we added an immutable server at our disaster recovery site. It is one extra layer. So what happens is we have the backups, they copy to here, and then from there, that backup copies to the immutable server. Nothing can write to that immutable server. Once it's there, it's safe. We can't even access that unless we physically go there. So, and only a handful of us have access to that. So that is that. So worst case scenario, if it all goes to heck with ransomware, we have this super important backup that we can pull that is protected from all the bad stuff. So it is a sad state of affairs that our world is like this, but we have to have this. It is incredibly important. If you look around at other industries, you will find that they also have immutable backups. And so we are very happy to implement this. This is, I would say, if there's I wouldn't call it a crowning achievement, this is the most important achievement that we have put in place because it really is our saving grace in the worst case scenario. So any questions regarding immutable backups? All right. Well, thank you, Sly. So I just want to thank you guys Board, for always being supportive of everything that IT does. And we love supporting everyone. That is our role. I have always said, yes, we are IT experts, but our role is to support the staff who support the citizens. And I don't consider us an IT department. I consider us a customer service department. Our job is to serve you guys. Everyone is our customer. So we appreciate the support in allowing us to do what we can. I'm going to be biased. I love our staff. I think we have the best staff ever. No offense to everyone else. And we are a great team, and we love working with everyone. And with that, I will leave you. Look, he's the same transition. See?
Wonder who did that.
So,
Yeah.
That was the one I just changed up with. I thought the curtains was kind of cool. See?
It is.
You thought the curtains were neat. So I'll just leave you with our IT mission statements. So are there any questions that I may answer for you guys?
No, not for me. I was going to say, you even answered some questions, I guess, that I didn't know we had up there of things going on. So for the future, thank you.
And if you guys want, I can provide a copy. Well, this slide is huge, but I can kind of minimize it and get it into just a bullet point.
That'd be great.
Thank you for a great year from you and your staff.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone. Thanks for everyone that presented today. I know it's, like I said, you and your teams, like I say, have had a great year, so thank you. I thought it kept going through my head, too, as far as the great information that's been provided today that our marketing coordinator can help disseminate and get out for us, all the great things going on in the department, so thank you all. Moving on to item 4, claims and payments. This is a resolution that the Board of Supervisors approve expenditures and that the county auditor be authorized and directed to issue checks against the various settlement of such claims as allowed.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Ms. Wiedner?
Good morning, Board. Our total bill payment this week is, I shouldn't have started with that, should I? $598,024.20, and of that, out of the 60/40 fund, we're paying $7,888.45. We do have a few large payments we're making. There's a number being made for the Cedar Valley Nature Trail project. You saw how that's progressing. About $105,000 for that. We're paying election officers again, $88,844 total for that. And we're also paying our annual payment for Juvenile Indigent Defense Fund to the state, $195,320. And I think that's everything, unless anyone has questions today.
All right. Please answer as your name is called.
Hall.
Yes.
Little.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Shelka.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 5, receive project updates from department heads and elected officials.
Good morning, Board. Kayla Nemrick with Public Health. I just have a quick update for you on the digital wayfinding project for the Pinecrest building. We did get some final numbers back from CTI, the conference technologies company that we've been using for the conference room upgrades, that this is adding on to that project with our COVID response funds. And so we are planning to move forward with purchasing 3 43-inch interactive touchscreen digital displays to be installed on the first floor of the Pinecrest building next to the elevator, on the 4th floor next to the in the lobby area, and on the 5th floor. We're not able to do 2nd and 3rd at this time just because we're prioritizing the floors that we're on since they're public health funds. And then we will also prepay as many years in advance as we can for the software to run the interactive displays on the back end. So that is the plan at this time. It's been a quick moving project because these funds are available to us only until December 31st. So we're trying to spend down as much of them as we can. Do you have any questions?
Great.
No, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other project updates or elected officials? Anyone online? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item 6, is the minutes approved for December 12, 2023.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Item 7 is the consent agenda. The following items are acted upon by a single resolution unless someone wishes to remove something for discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Please answer as your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 8, contracts and agreements. Resolution to approve the contract between Blackhawk County and Arca Search for the Auditor's Transfer Book Digitization Project, funded through American Rescue Plan Act and at an estimated cost of $47,679 with a second year hosting fee of $3,672 as recommended by Grant Veeder, County Auditor.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Did you have any comments you wanted to make, Grant, about it, or just?
I'll just point out that for one of the smaller ARPA projects that we have going, it's taken an enormous amount of time to get going. There were just some technical issues that Mike's well aware of with some of the hoops that you have to jump through to have the proper certification and the right numbers and so forth. So we're very happy that everything's finally in place and we're able to go forward with this project.
This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes. Item 9, other business. Motion is the reappointment of Michael Bonzer to Blackhawk County Conservation Board to be approved effective January 1, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item B, motion to direct the county auditor to advertise for a public hearing to be held at 9:05 on Tuesday, January 2nd in the Blackhawk County Courthouse on the proposed ordinance 77-283 from a request submitted by Robert Denny to rezone 18.93 acres north of 5640 West Cedar Wapsie. From Ag. Yeah, thank you.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item C, motion to direct the county auditor to advertise for a public hearing to be held on January 2nd, boardroom of Blackhawk County Courthouse, ordinance 77-284, from a request by Robert Denny to rezone 2.35 acres adjacent to the Waverly Road and Cedar Wapsie Road intersection from agricultural district to commercial manufacturing.
So moved.
Second.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item D, motion to direct the county auditor to advertise for a public hearing to be held at 9:09 on December 27th in boardroom of Blackhawk County Courthouse on proposed ordinance number 146, an ordinance establishing a local option sales and services tax applicable to transactions in the incorporated and unincorporated areas of Blackhawk County.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 The same sign, thank you. Item E is discussion and possible board action regarding options for building at 1210 Idaho Street, located on the Pinecrest campus. Good morning.
Good morning, Board. Rory Giving, Facilities Director. So as you know, we have been working very closely with EPI, Exceptional Persons Incorporated, and with regards to the property that's located behind our Pinecrest facility on Idaho. We've had several discussions with them. We've reviewed the facility and just wanted to kind of go through what their response was to the contract that the county currently has with EPI or PPI with regards to this building. This was a 40-year contract that is expiring in June of 2024. And so we started off these conversations wanting to know what EPI's, what their plan was moving forward. And what they had relayed to us was that residential care facilities is something that within the last decade they have been dissolving those. In fact, this is the last one that they have. And this is based largely upon just review or people-supported a smaller type of atmosphere for these clients. This was something that was brought on to EPI or recommended to EPI by home and community-based services. And so ideally, with this contract coming up in June, works in their timing or in their favor to go ahead and start looking at smaller atmospheres for these clients. And so they've had communication with the folks within that facility, and it indicated that they are going to be closing that down and moving out and moving these residents into smaller facilities. And so the discussion that we've been having with a few different folks that have been working on the Pinecrest building as far as looking at the occupants and how that Pinecrest building's being utilized. We felt that if the county were to pursue this EPI building, that would really give us a good opportunity to further expand possibilities for that location. And so I wanted to kind of touch on what that building looks like. Al, can you show me how to get onto that? Which one? Okay. Right there. Okay, so this is the building that EPI is currently occupying on Idaho. It is approximately 6,000 square feet. When I walked through this facility, I invited Envision Architect to come with me, and what we did is we looked at three different categories of renovation. If we were to go in and renovate this building, they came back with three categories: a light, a moderate, and a heavy. And so you can see that this building is really made up as residential right now with 12 occupants or 12 resident rooms, each location having a lounge area. And so looking at this, if the county were to acquire this facility, the heavy renovation estimated total would be about $1.2 million. The moderate would be about $875, and the light would be about $698. Just to kind of give you an idea of what those mean.
Could you review those once again, too, please?
Yep. So starting with the heavy, that would be a $1.2 million.
Thank you.
The heavy could constitute as tearing down interior space, creating a new layout, design, essentially reconstructing new walls, lighting, and appliances. So that would constitute a heavy renovation. A moderate renovation would be about $875,000. That could constitute as switching out carpeting, hardwood flooring, changing doorways, molding, wainscoting, new windows, and so forth. A light renovation is $698,000. That could be as lighting, upgrading lighting arrangement, replacing bathroom or kitchen fixtures, faucets, sinks, so forth, closets, repainting walls, moldings, and wainscoting. So that just kind of touches briefly on what some of those categories might mean. And so in looking at this facility, comparing the square footage of the, say, the VA department, where they're currently at within the Pinecrest facility is 3,600 square feet. Again, this facility is 6,000 square feet. So we started looking at different ideas and how we could utilize this, and we actually met with Yolando, and we really feel that one very win-win situation would be to take a hard look at this facility for the VA department. I really feel that being outside of the Pinecrest campus really opens them up to more opportunities, host weekend events without impacting the main building. They could have their shelter, which was already approved by ARPA. There's plenty of land behind this facility. So I think there's a great opportunity here to look at turning this into the VA department. And then as a result, that would free up approximately 3,600 square feet that we could potentially look at an opportunity for the health department clinic. Back in 2019, the health department had worked with Envision Architect. And Envision Architect had looked at the area underneath the chapel on the first floor, which was approximately 3,100 square feet. And at that time, they were at just a little over $1 million to construct the clinic in that location. That was brought in front of the board at that time at a budget time, and it essentially was kind of put on hold at that point. So with that being said, the current application that was submitted for the health department clinic and the relocation of a few of some of the health department floors, I really feel that at this 3,600 square feet, that was a $5.8 million ARPA request, with the heavy renovation of $1.2 million. If we go off of the 2019 number of $1 million for the clinic, even if we inflated that because it is somewhat aged, I still believe we'd be well under the $5.8 million. So what I would like to ask for the board today is that we go back, look at that application, and rewrite that application to include utilizing that existing space where the VA is at currently. Sorry, kind of struggling. I'm just getting over kind of a sickness here.
So would the current EPI building, I guess we refer to it, is be a part of this also?
I'm sorry?
You're mentioning the space that's in, the VA currently is in.
Mm-hmm.
Would also this building on Idaho Street be part of that project then, because it would all be?
Yes, I would make that, I would make the move of the VA department to the EPI building and the new clinic all one ARPA project, and that's what I would be asking for today under that existing application that was done in 2019 to revamp that to include the new project.
Rory, how much land's on that VA property?
I don't have the actual acreage, but there is a significant amount of land on both the back side and on the east side of that property.
Because you had looked at parking.
Yes.
And some of those things.
There's an opportunity for an expansion of a parking lot, say, to the east side of this facility. Again, looking at this, so many great opportunities that I feel if invested in, it would be a wonderful VA center. Not that their area right now isn't wonderful, but this, again, would be a win-win. I believe Health Department would have their own entrance into the clinic if they were to take the existing VA center. This facility, the VA center, would have their own facility, which they, again, can hold functions, weekends, nights, what have you, without impacting the main Pinecrest facility.
Would they still maintain the picnic area that they're currently using?
I'm sorry, Tom.
The area that they hold their picnics on alongside the building, would that still be VA?
No, what I would propose is on the backside, if VA were to move to this new facility, I would propose on the backside that we construct their shelter and make that their area for having events outside.
When did the VA move over in that building?
I want to say it was right around 2018.
You have any idea how much county spent on the remodel and everything?
Roughly $85,000.
And that's including outside also?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yolanda also mentioned too, he thought it was a great advantage for some of his clients or the people that come to the VA to not have that long walk through the building. They could actually just be able to access right at the door and walk into the facility.
Is Kaylin still here? I just
Yes.
I'd like to hear your kind of input on this location and whether it brings any concerns up or logistics.
Yeah, I mean, I understand financially it's probably the most fiscally conservative, which is in the interest of the board, of course, so I do understand that. The separate entrance is very appealing because our clinic manager in particular and the clinic team more generally has been wanting to have a solution for offering evening clinics and stuff like that without worrying about the entire building security. And so that is appealing. I think there's still more questions about, where would staff offices be and how would the workflow be and things like that. But I'm definitely open to sitting down with the architect and seeing how this could work for our department. I think it's definitely an improvement of the space that we have. And so I'm just grateful for that improvement of the space that we have.
And I know that you have shared reception, for example, across all departments. So
we do.
I'm almost wondering if we should give that first floor space in reception to health department and move DHS elsewhere.
Yeah, Rory and I had the opportunity to talk about this on Friday, and since then I've kind of been brainstorming a little bit of how that might work. And I know that there's a connection between the VA space and the front lobby space that's to the left when you come in the main Pinecrest doors. And I'm wondering what kinds of opportunities there might be to look at, revamping maybe that lobby space that's to the left and making it so even there would be like shared reception area or something like that. I'm definitely open to opportunities. I would love to be on first floor because that makes it more accessible to people that come to see us. But I'm also very aware that Iowa HHS also gets a lot of traffic, and the citizens of Blackhawk County that come to visit the Pinecrest building may be coming to see us, and they may be coming to see HHS, and so I just want to make it easy on whatever reason they're coming to the building.
Rory, DHS has got a portion of the Pinecrest, correct?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
I'm sorry, Tom.
Could you say it?
Our
Yeah.
volume for some reason is really low in here. If you could repeat that.
DHS, they have how much room in the Pinecrest building?
Wait. Okay, one more time.
How much room does DHS have in the Pinecrest?
They occupy roughly 54% of that building.
How much revenue do we get a year on that? Do you recall?
Roughly 211,000.
This is not for certain, but I talked to somebody at the state a week ago on another matter. That facility there, the DHS is using, is on one list that may be eliminated and moved to another area.
So, yes, during the last year, as I'd mentioned earlier, we have had several conversations with each department within that facility. So we did meet with the local folks with DHS, and we talked a little bit about that. What they expressed to us, now nothing's necessarily off the table, but what they expressed to us is that they love that facility. They kind of treat that location as their kind of main area or main facility, and so they had at that time no indication of them being asked to relocate. If anything, they felt that there may be more of a push for others to relocate there. So again, that's just from their perspective. But that is some of the feedback that we have received back from the local folks here at that facility.
Yeah, I think it goes a little higher than that from
Yeah.
what I understand.
Yeah.
They're talking about a major facility downtown maybe, more centralized for the people to get to a lot easier than the Pinecrest building.
We hadn't heard
It's
that.
just
I mean,
it's
they
just
didn't
something to
discuss
think
that.
about.
Everybody that we met with and talked with, I said, and every tenant out there was hoping that they could stay and remain. I mean, they were kind of expressing that thought when they knew we were looking at evaluating the building, but it was nice to
Yeah,
hear the good
but,
comments.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the state's going to make that decision.
No,
It won't
state.
be local.
Yeah, the state will make that, yeah.
Specifically on the EPI building, their lease is done.
Their lease is up in June of 2024.
Yep.
In talking with EPI, they're taking measures right now as we speak to try to find smaller atmospheres for these clients that they serve. Now, they did indicate that they wondered if the county could be flexible beyond that date. And I said, we can certainly talk about that when the timing's right, but that was their feedback.
But we were going to have to keep close communication with them, I guess, if that wasn't the case, that we need to keep, I guess, both of us communicating so that
Yes.
nobody's left in a lurch, because we may have to have some
So in the event that, let's say we weren't going to move forward on this, EPI still intends to eventually vacate the building. They're not looking to, they're not requesting another 40-year.
No. In fact, no, they are not interested in another 40. They're not interested in another 10.
Yeah.
Their mission is focused on getting away from that large residential care type atmosphere and getting into a smaller type setting.
So then at that point, this building is all ours.
Yes.
It's our responsibility. We'll want to fill it in some measure. So this tends to make some sense to me. But I do think I'd love to hear a little deeper conversation with health, with architects to know sort of where our number is most likely going to be. I get that that's going to require us to probably send it to, do we need to send it to Baker Tilly with architect, or is that prior to architect?
I think what we could do is revamp the existing application that was submitted in 2019 to include this scope, then send that to Baker Tilly with the information that we've received so far from our architects, which again, we have to be somewhat careful with those dollar amounts because at this point we don't know the extent of those renovations. But I think that gets us in the ballpark, and at least when I looked back at 2019, when I looked at cost per square footage, it seems to be in line with what we had received back at that point too. So,
And in the interest of clarification, what was submitted to Baker Tilly was actually Envision's facilities review that was more recent, just in the last couple of years. And that was where I believe the $5.8 million estimate came from. It did not include the 2019 proposal per se, although they may have incorporated that. Did they, Caitlin? I don't recall right offhand.
So what we submitted, the Baker Tilly application with the 5.9 or $5.8 million was the 2022 space assessment that the Board of Supervisors commissioned. That was the cost estimate for the health department space included in that proposal.
And so that included not only the clinic, but also the entire health department renovation. And so that's, I think, what Caitlin was getting at when she talked about offices and workflow earlier.
And I want to see this still include the entire health department. And as we make these plans, I want to see us give priority to the health department, to the first floor. The state, this isn't the DHS workers here. They're all great and fine people, but the state of Iowa is not an honest broker and not an honest actor when dealing with the county. And so I think we need to give priority to county departments to give the optimal space in that building.
So yes, to elaborate just a bit on the application, as Mike had indicated too, that was submitted in February of 2023. So what I envision here with the EPI building, if we were to move the VA department over there and move the clinic in where the VA department currently is at, I would look at it as a larger scope. I would include looking at getting the health department condensed together. Right now they're scattered throughout the building, and so what my focus would be for this particular portion of it, just to get some movement with the clinic, would be maybe two different applications. One application focusing on getting the VA department over to this new site and getting the clinic where the existing VA is at now. Second phase of that would then be looking at health department in a whole and how can we reorganize them within the facility. For an example, could we get them all on first and second floor, put the state on third and fourth floors, and ultimately the goal would be to vacate the fifth floor altogether. Our fifth floor has been a constant battle, battling ADA requirements, just battling the nature of that floor being on the highest level. What I would propose is turning that fifth floor into storage and vacating that altogether. And if you are familiar with that building, the first through fourth is very office-like setting. You get up to the fifth floor, and it's just it's like walking back in time, essentially. So,
a quick question here on if we were to do this sort of two-phase approach. One of the phases being moving VA. Does that likely take that ARPA application into, would it just become lost revenue, or would we still be able and forego any Baker Tilly, or is there potentially an argument to be made to include it into that larger pool? Just trying to figure out, because we've got 5.8, but that's not currently coming out of lost revenue. That's coming out of that, I forget the name of the fund, the primary.
That's a very good question. I would like to think, this is speculative at this stage, and I'd be curious what Baker Tilly's going to say. I would like to think that this would all be part of a larger qualifying application. It would all qualify more or less for the same reasons, distancing and to enable us because it's the best of all options. Or at least the best of all realistic economical options for distancing people within the health department and making for a more robust clinic. But that would be for them to determine, and we would have to come up either with or on our own, with them or on our own.
But if we pulled the VA application and that was sort of a standalone, and then health was, are we able to tie the two to say that we're moving VA over to this facility because of this other project that's coming with another application? Are we able to tie them?
That's what I want to do.
Okay.
That's what I want to do. Whether they will give it their blessing, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, so that is what we'll do, submit the application as such and wait and see what their response is. And at the same time, you did say, talk about other conversations and discussions with the board as well as the staff of the health department. And I think this was just kind of getting us to this place where we can move forward and it's public information and EPI is comfortable with it and have made their plans and things too. So now it's kind of go time.
Exactly. Yep.
So lots to come up. So your motion that you're proposing is to include the Idaho Street building in the plans for our evaluation by Baker Tilly?
Yes, please. And it can be revamping the February 23rd, 2023 application that had already been submitted. It could be just rewording that to include the EPI building, the movement of VA over to that, and the new clinic.
And it's not been submitted previously at all. It wasn't like we did it in 223 in February and then submitted it. So it could be a new app, so to speak. Or which would you prefer?
I think probably at this point a new application might be the cleanest way to do it.
And given that we hadn't, last I checked on the status of this, everything kind of was on hold due to the fact that we were evaluating this Idaho Street property. Because of that, the written justification portion had not been developed to the point of having alternatives that were necessary in order for that to go forward. At this point, I think it makes sense. I think we can turn the application around fairly quickly, and then we have to really work quickly in terms of whether it be with architects or just people in our departments have to work very quickly to come up with these alternatives for Baker Tilly to get the written justification turned around, assuming they're going to qualify. They will tell us, hey, look, don't waste your time on a justification. We don't think this is going to qualify if there's no reason to. But as I said earlier, I think there's a lot of reason to think that this will qualify as a larger project, kind of like we did here at the courthouse when we combined departments that we're going to all experience a little renovation and relocation.
And they don't have many applications of ours now, so perhaps there could be a quick turn.
I think there are 2 pending ones at the moment.
Just because I know, as Michelle tells us many times, we're working up against those timelines.
Yep.
December
And
24th.
they will be, if we tell them we need this quickly or we need you to work really quickly on this, they've been very responsive on that. The 2 that are pending were not considered urgent when they were submitted.
That sounds good. Anybody want to make the motion then, or do you have more questions? Or
Yeah, no, I'll offer the motion to send to Baker Tilly the public health clinic remodel, including the VA moving to 1210 Idaho Street.
Second.
I saw modify that to be not just public health clinic remodel, but public health department and clinic remodel.
yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Because when we started out, thinking this is going to be like a clinic, and then Caitlin mentioned how important it was to have the clinic and the department together. Then it kind of changed the plans too for what we did. But yeah.
Use the opportunity to further invest in that building that we've invested in significantly and shore up its future.
Yeah, for sure. Well, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 10, any reports or information from the board?
I'll just remind we have the joint meeting tomorrow morning between the Board of Health and the Board of Supervisors. I believe it's in room 420 of Pinecrest Building, so we can all go take a look around at the building together
look again.
after the meeting.
Sure. Anything from you? Anything, Tom? Any report or information for you?
Is there any update on the Raymount building that supposedly the county bought?
Mr. Giving's still here. An update?
Last I heard, we were still waiting on that abstract.
Oh, Rory was following up with that.
Yep, we are. In fact, we looked at some various options as we're waiting for the abstract. with winter coming and the ultimate goal to get our vehicles inside, we looked at could we possibly share this building until the abstract is complete. I guess my thought on that is I would prefer to get this building 100% in our name before we occupy any of it. And so that was kind of our thoughts. And so, yeah, we're still.
You mentioned, didn't you say on Friday, or there was, you said you called and left a message?
I did. I know that the abstract is with their attorneys. So I am not sure what all's involved with getting that updated, but it sure seems like it has taken quite some time.
It
Yeah.
really shouldn't take this long.
Well, he was going to, when I talked to him a week or so ago, he said he would follow up with his attorney because he expected that to be done, but it was.
Yeah, it
gonna
really
be-
needs to be at an abstract company to have that done, and they would do the work. And it's just because we seller generally updates it through the date of sale, and the buyer updates it after the sale is closed. And the last sale was not part of the abstract, which is why I wanted that updated beforehand. I'm surprised it's been this long.
Yeah, so am I. So,
I will continue to try to reach out to them and see where we're at with that. Ultimately, the preference would be before budget, because as I had indicated when we purchased the building, there are several items that I'd like to get in there and get accomplished before we occupy it. So this would be a good time to have that squared away.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, do we know if there's any liens on that property?
We don't at this point because we want that abstract updated first, and then I'll review it for liens.
Yeah, because.
Okay, and then Rory, the last question, is there any water in that building?
You mean as far as plumbed water or standing water?
As far as water in there and pipes that are going to freeze and break?
They're actually still occupying that building.
So they're heating it right now?
Yeah, so they're still operating out of that building currently.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. All right, we'll move on to item 11, the work session. All of you have been waiting for, so thank you for your patience. Community Services Funding Presentations for fiscal year '24. Do we want to just lead right off with, I said, as they are in the order they are, Blackhawk County Public Libraries, Kelly Stern and Jillian Rutledge. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to talk to you about this project that we started last year. I'm Kelly Stern. I'm the library director at the Cedar Falls Public Library.
And I'm Jillian Rutledge. I'm the assistant director here in Waterloo. And we are here on behalf of all 7 Blackhawk County libraries for this countywide program. Just a quick overview about the Dolly Parton Imagination Library in case you're not familiar with it. It is a book gifting program. Dolly Parton started it to honor her father, who never learned how to read. She believes very strongly that a good library in the home sets students up for success. Kelly's going to talk a little bit about that. So they employ a panel of experts, early literacy experts, who select age-appropriate and reading level-appropriate books, and then they are mailed to the child's home, one every single month, from the time that they are born up until age 5. So this program is available to anyone living in Blackhawk County. They just have to sign up the child, and again, it goes through the age of 5, and it's at no cost then to the families.
We think that this is a great project for the supervisors to consider contributing to because, first of all, it's a county-wide program. There is no qualification process for the children who participate. They don't have to meet a certain economic, criteria, or they just have to be under the age of 5 and living in Blackhawk County. This has support from many organizations in the county. The Friends of the Cedar Falls and Waterloo Libraries, Laurel Trust, Cedar Falls Community Foundations, Ray Fund, Richardson's Funeral Home, Kiwanis, LaPorte Women's Club, Guernsey Foundation, Tyson Foods, and many other civic organizations and individuals are supporting this project right now. We like this project, and we think that you should too, because it represents upstream thinking.
So we're used to dealing with issues as they occur, and our school system is trying to help children who aren't reading at grade level. But this is upstream thinking, so this is preventive. It's proactive. We know because of research, there's just tons of research out there, that children who have books in their homes and who are read to before they start school are set up, they're more likely to be academically successful when they start school. And then we know that academic success opens up all kinds of doors for children and sets them up for other kinds of success in life as well. We also think it's a good idea because it's an attractive perk for living in Black Hawk County. Not every community does this, and the feedback that we've received from families about it is overwhelmingly positive. They love that their children get a book in the mail each month with their name on it, and it's at their age level, and they get to keep it, so they have this little library at the end of the program.
So currently, just to do a little bit of statistics, we have just over 2,600 registrations. So the eligible children in the county is just right around 8,000. So we're at over 32% of the eligible children who are registered. Right around 25% of those are outside of Cedar Falls and Waterloo. So we are hitting a good amount of children across the county. Like Kelly said, we've worked a lot with various funders to ensure the continued success of this program. We have around $55,974 currently remaining, and so that will continue to fund the program for about the next 9 months or so. So as we see an increase in registration, which we have every month, we have more and more children who are signing up, that those monthly bills continue to go up. So we're hoping to secure additional funding to ensure the continued success of the program through 5 years. The anticipated cost over the 5-year length of the program is right around $344,000. And so we're hoping to, again, continue to secure funding to keep this program going. We have graduated just under 600 students from this, so when they reach that age of 5, that's when they graduate from the program. But again, we're continuing to get more kids signing up as they learn about the program, and so we're hoping to continue.
So what year are we in now? Are you in now?
We're still in the first year.
First year.
Okay.
Yeah. So we far exceeded the anticipated, just based on national trends, what we thought the sign up would be. So that's been really great. There's been, like Kelly said, really positive feedback. So yeah, a lot of people are really excited about it.
How do people get registered, or how do their children get registered?
They can do it through any of the library websites. We have links right there on the page. We also have paper forms. We have those in both English and Spanish. We bring those with us when we do outreach events throughout the communities. We've done, like Kelly said, we've gone out to Tyson Food and did a targeted sort of sign-up campaign there. And so, yeah, and then word of mouth. When we sign up people for library cards at our library, they're telling them right away about all of the programs and services. And especially if we notice that they have young children with them, we really encourage them to sign up.
We gave applications as well to all of the organizations that work with the food bank so that they can help their clients to register. We also, we know that parents can register themselves on Dolly Parton's website as well.
But getting that word out is probably difficult too, for them to know that.
Well, that's why we've done some targeted outreach. That's why we went to Tyson Foods, for example, and we didn't just set up a table and register people during their lunch waves, but we left sign-up applications with the trainers so that as Tyson employs new employees who have children, they can register those children as well. So we're doing targeted, recruitment.
So your goal would be to get the 8,000, I guess, in Black Hawk County registered.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
And you said $55,975 was needed?
That's what we currently have as
That's
a
what you
balance,
have.
yes. So the funding that we have secured. And then every month, the financial partner, which is the Community Foundation of Cedar Falls, receives invoices from the Dolly Parton Imagination Library Company, and then we pay those bills. So I think in December was right around 5,800.
Yes, that was our
yeah.
last bill. It was just over that. They're just under 6,000 right now a
Yeah.
month.
Oh, and the cost to the foundation is $2.20 per book. Retail, that would be right around $15 if someone were to go and purchase these exact books that they're receiving in the mail.
Is there any tie of this program to like your accreditations, or is it's separate? Just in full disclosure, recognizing the impact of the levy issues
Well, 72,
that
yeah.
that the legislature
Yes.
blessed us with. Just trying to, I guess, balance what I would anticipate is a future ask. Just in all honesty, right? Like, if those levies go away, recognizing the really tough spot that you all are in, do you anticipate this program being impacted, depending on what happens with the levy and any, we'll call it local backfill, but
No, it's completely separate.
Okay.
This is the project that the Black Hawk County Public Library directors, all 7 of us, thought was important to provide for our community. And since it's funded entirely by charitable organizations and individuals who believe in the project, it shouldn't affect
Okay.
the libraries at all.
Have there been any other government entities that have participated at this point?
Government entities?
Any cities?
Do you mean which other cities have the program?
Have there been some cities?
Yeah, there are other cities in Iowa
Just-
that have this.
Well, our cities in Black Hawk County.
Like
that
to-
that are
contribute
contributing
funding?
into
Yes.
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
No.
okay. Just,
There's been, in Cedar Falls, one of the administrators mentioned the possibility of proposing an employee giving program, which is what John Deere is doing, actually. Their employees can choose to have a certain amount withdrawn from their checks each month to go towards this project. So, but it's just been talk at this point.
sure. Well, thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other?
No questions. I'm a big fan of the program, though.
Yeah.
Thank you
Well,
for
thank
your
you
time.
very
We
much.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. Boys and Girls Clubs of Cedar Valley, Rebecca McCart. Morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. This is a passion project, but data is beautiful, so I have some handouts.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Sure. Yeah, we can do that one.
All right, my name is Rebecca McCarty, and I'm Director of Development at Boys and Girls Clubs of the Cedar Valley. Today, I want to make sure you have a good understanding of what Boys and Girls Clubs of the Cedar Valley is and why we are so important to the development of Black Hawk County. So our club's main focus is to provide a safe, structured, and educational focused space when kids are out of school but parents are in work. So our vision is to create a world-class club experience that assures the success is within the reach of every young person who comes through our doors, with members on track to graduate from high school with a plan for the future, demonstrating good character and citizenship, and living a healthy lifestyle. So we do that starting with making sure every youth in the Cedar Valley has access to coming to the club. So we don't charge any fees in membership. This is a new concept that we just started this year. It costs about $1,616 for every child that comes through our doors for us to provide meals, pay for the electricity, that staffing support, of course, which is huge to have those right people in those positions. So we operate our after-school programming at our 4 sites, located at our main Waterloo Clubhouse over on Lime Street, just a few blocks away. Our Teen and Educational Center, which is right across from the high school over on 4th Street. Elk Run Heights Club, that's a new club that we just bought. And our Lincoln Elementary site. We also have a charter in Cedar Falls, but no site there yet. We partner with Northeast Iowa Food Bank to provide our youth with meals and snacks that are nutritionally sound and prepared to meet all 5 food groups. And basically what we're asking for help with is Project Learn. Project Learn is an overarching name for all of our scheduled programming for Boys and Girls Clubs of the Cedar Valley on a yearly basis at all of those 4 operating sites. And our target population, I didn't mention, that's any child age 6 to 18 that lives in the Cedar Valley. And it's any child. I mean, you might think of our main demographic is 74% of our club members are on or under the poverty line, but the club is for everyone. Our organization's goals for attending members are that they will receive a proficient GPA, they'll increase their knowledge of healthy lifestyles, and they'll learn life applicable skills. And then our organization's goals for outcomes include improvement in school attendance, maintenance or improvement in GPA, improvement or maintenance in math and literacy proficiency, improvement and maintenance of reading proficiency, progression of grade level, and reduction of disciplinary referrals. So all of these are monitored and measured over the course of the year. We partner with SuccessLink to track the data on all of our club members. They provide us with data 2 times a year, which we compare to the previous semester's number, as well as with the Waterloo Community Schools district average. So some of the data they provide us with include school attendance, grades, behavioral referrals, so we can clearly kind of show our measurements and if we're achieving our goals. As a nonprofit, we operate on a budget that is roughly $1.3 million, and our revenue sources are made up of grants, special events, individual donations, planned gifts, or bequests. A big part of that budget is being able to effectively serve our youth, which starts with the youth development staff. So as with any service organization, personnel costs is going to be the largest part of our operation. We're no different, with more than 80% of our operating budget being for personnel cost. The other 20% of our operating budget covers facilities, supplies, food, and more. So that's kind of a breakdown of what we do, what we need. You know, this project is sustainable, but it is also based on what we can get from our community and donations and fundraising. Any questions?
The $75,000, is that just for this project?
Yes.
That's what it takes to run Project Learn?
Well, Project Learn is the $1.3 million.
That's the one.
Yeah, yep.
And I guess you had mentioned in your application that programs are in need of new and updated materials and lessons. And I was wondering if you could have specific examples of what that is, or what this funding then I assume would be.
Absolutely. So we run a plethora of programming brought down from BGCA. So of course, healthy lifestyles is a big one. We do triple play. That's all of our athletic. Boy, we go through basketballs. You know, just kids that come to club report getting 1 hour or more of physical education a day, and that's huge for obesity in America, those statistics. So we're really big on the health and the triple play program. And then we do power hour every day after school. So kind of like the idea is if your kid comes to club, they're going to get there, get a snack. They're going to do an hour of homework with teachers, and we have paras that work with us too from the schools, and they help them get their kids' homework done. If they don't have homework, there's other things they can do in that power hour. And then they get to play, and then they get dinner. So when the parent picks them up, their homework's done, they've eaten, they're ready to hang out with mom and dad, or just dad, before bedtime. And yeah, they've had a really impactful day. So
You mentioned too increasing the attendance from 210 to 320.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we mainly recruit within the Waterloo School District. So our unit directors that are in charge of each site actively recruit there. And so they try to go to as many of those activities, you know, anything they can through those schools to connect with parents, you know, wherever they can to recruit more kids.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I don't think so. It's great work, though.
Super, yeah.
Thank you. There's a neat little testimonial from kids and their parents in your handout, too. It's kind of fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the Cedar Bend Humane Society, Christy Gardner.
Good morning. Thank you
Good
for
morning.
having us.
Nice to see you again.
My name is Christy Gardner. I'm the executive director at the Cedar Bend Humane Society.
I'm Dr. Kent Mealik. I'm the staff veterinarian at Cedar Bend Humane Society.
So basically, we kind of wanted to talk about a program that we are launching. You know, the Cedar Bend Humane Society, we've been around since early 1960s. We offer a lot of community programs as far as lost and found. We hold strays, TNR, that type of thing. One of the things that we see as a big need in our community over the years is a low-cost wellness program for people that have owned pets. So this is kind of a unique program. It's not targeted towards strays. It's targeted towards people that have pets that we're kind of aiming to serve the low-income community members. We will offer free wellness examinations, low-cost veterinary services such as vaccinations, spay-neuter surgeries, microchips, nail trim, heartworm testing, things like that for the community. We feel that these services will offer economical benefits to the community. They'll conserve resources. They'll address pet surrenders, illnesses, overpopulation. I would say in the last couple years, just last year alone, we've taken about 4,000 animals a year. Out of that 4,000 animals last year, it was like 2,335 animals were sick, injured, or needed some sort of medical attention. So we're seeing a real high uptick of animals that come in. We really feel that they're animals that people can't afford to take care of, like if they get sick, injured, that type of thing. We see a lot more illnesses than we have over the last couple years, which we feel is a result from not being vaccinated, those basic wellness services that people can't afford to give their pets. As a veterinarian, Kent, I know you kind of wanted to talk a little bit on kind of what you're seeing in the community.
Yeah, I've been a veterinarian in the Cedar Valley for 40 years. I became staff veterinarian at Cedar Bend in early 2015. Initially, just started out doing surgeries for just the in-house pets. Since then, we have transitioned to this TNR program for cats. It's been really beneficial. A lot of people they've got a lot of barn cats. They just cannot afford to take those cats to a shelter or to their veterinarian for surgery. So we do a real low-cost surgeries, and it will help prevent a lot of overpopulation. There's a big problem with too many cats in the Cedar Valley. And as many of these cats as we can get neutered and spayed, that's going to reduce the amount of cats out in the public. Veterinary costs the last few years have kind of really escalated quite a bit. And I guess I feel that everybody should be able to own a pet, but some of the veterinary fees have maybe gotten out of line for some individuals. So if we can provide some of these low-cost services, it will kind of help the public. We've started some vaccination clinics. We were doing them before COVID, but then COVID, they've shut down. We're going to start those up again. And these low-cost vaccines will allow these people to get their pets vaccinated. They can't afford, to take them to a clinic. Then we'll allow them some funds for other illnesses. And I always checked over all these pets, can pick up some health problems that maybe the owners weren't aware of, and told them they need to get these pets their attention. So we really we're trying to target, the low-cost community. We're not trying to take any away from veterinarians, but I've watched some of these costs go up where it's kind of gotten out.
Intake to begin with is kind of our main goal. And if we can prevent these animals from becoming strays and they can stay with their people, we think that's super important. I would say 85 to 90% of the people in Black Hawk County have a pet of some sort. If we can provide some of these wellness services, then maybe they would be able to afford things like if their pets do get sick or injured, then they can take those to their regular vet. So it's just kind of a preventative program. We've really kind of set this up to where it should be self-supporting once we get it started. We will charge for these vaccinations and such, but it'll be at a pretty low cost. But because we get vaccinations, medications and stuff at cost being a shelter, we're able to offer these at a pretty low cost to the public, but then that money that we get for revenue will go right back into the into the program. So, we're really kind of trying to impact the poverty, people that don't have to get rid of their pets, they can still keep their pets. Fewer surrenders means saved resources on sheltering. The cities and the county pay for strays to come into the shelter, so hopefully that'll reduce some of, those costs. This has the potential to save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for families that have pets.
So the total cost of the program is not $10,000. You're requesting that from the county, but
Correct.
It's approximately.
I know we did turn in, the total cost for the first year, you're looking at probably about $73,000. The first year alone, if we just based on treating about 1,000 animals for a variety of different, like vaccinations, spay neuters, that type of thing, we should be able to bring back into the program $9,000. I really look for us to serve more than 1,000 animals. We were being pretty conservative on that, but I will tell you, we get calls on a daily basis for people asking us to spay and neuter their pets. Like Kent said, we do a barn cat program right now where we do the outside feral cats or barn cats for people, but like we have people that have in-home pets that are struggling because they don't have the resources to take care of their pets.
Go ahead.
There's just not enough. There is not any other program like this in Black Hawk County. So this would be a very unique program. There's just not services to provide this type of help for people in this county.
Is there anybody doing something similar in the state even? Is this like you've seen replicated? Or
So we are part of the Iowa Federation of Humane Societies, and I do know there are some of your larger shelters, like I know Animal Rescue League. Some of those shelters will offer some wellness services, vaccinations, spay neuters. They do it a little bit different. Instead of people coming to their shelter, like we'll either offer like walk-in services or on appointment basis. They go out in the field. They're a lot bigger shelter and a lot bigger county than we are. They'll go out in the field and they'll say, we're going to target this area. What I like about our program is instead of us going out and just targeting specific areas, we're pretty central in the county. We kind of sit in Waterloo, but we're pretty close to Cedar Falls. So we can serve pretty much anybody in this county if they just come to us, and then we can do that on appointment basis. So they don't have to wait for us to come to their area.
And I guess we're working on developing some programs where we can do some spay and neuters at a lower cost just for those families that can't afford it. And by getting these pets spayed and neutered, there are a lot of health issues that older male or female dog or cat that can develop if they've not been spayed or neutered. So we can also, if we can get these animals done at the proper age, it can prevent some heartache and some expense down the line that these owners maybe cannot afford.
So are you waiting until you get the $73,000 to kind of kick off the program, or how will you?
We're kind of in the process of, starting, this program. We have already received, I know we've asked for another $10,000 for another grant. We have received that already. And then from our LSK fund, we've received that $3,000. So some of our money will come just from the services that we offer. Now, we're not going to probably be able to offer everything until we continue to, raise funds, but some things like vaccinations, those are some things we'd like to start kicking off right after the first of the year. To be completely honest with you, for sheltering, every spring we see an uptick of distemper, parvo, things like that come through our shelter that are, within the stray population of animals within our community, or a lot of times people own those animals get sick, they can't afford it, so they dump them on our shelter. Sometimes they say they're strays, sometimes they claim that they're their animals, but they don't have the funds to treat those animals. So if we can start like over the winter, at least starting with the vaccination portion, I think that's going to help reduce some of those illnesses that we see, coming in the spring.
Thank you.
Particularly the parvovirus, it's a disease that's been around for years, and We get a lot of parvovirus cases from certain areas, so if we can get those people in, get those pets vaccinated, it's going to at least slow down, the spread of that particular disease.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate the opportunity.
Time. Thank you.
Computer got shut down.
I noticed all of a sudden we had a different screen. I was like, I know. It's all right. You did a nice report for IT, so this is like, yeah, how important it all is when it works.
He used all the battery on that
It was this
curtain
long
slide. That was a
presentation.
curtain slide.
I like that. Yeah. Everybody will have that.
I didn't even know that transition existed until I was like, this is cool.
Yeah. I was waiting for the music.
Wasn't going to do music. We'll probably get hit for copyright or something.
Yep.
Almost there.
Okay. I was going to say Samantha if I start, but yeah, okay, you're good. Thank you.
And I do have to leave.
All right. You guys are good.
We're not seeing it here yet. Matters.
That's right. This negates that whole presentation.
Thinking. There we go.
Thank you.
Stop 3,000 threats, but
Yeah.
Well, normal that one, not this one. Carol's.
Okay.
Now that one went off.
Yeah.
hey, there we
Is that
go.
one back too? That was good?
There.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for having me. My name is Samantha Gutnick, and I am the Senior Director of Marketing at Cedar Valley United Way. Cedar Valley United Way develops, supports, and invests in the most impactful strategies and partners to strengthen education, financial stability, and healthy lifestyles, which are the building blocks of opportunity. Our investments are data-driven and aimed at root causes for long-term measurable change. So one of our focuses for education aims to improve reading proficiency in children in schools, and that starts at birth. Data shows that reading to your children from birth increases educational proficiency, or reading proficiency, thus leading them into success later in life. So our Books for Babies program has been around for about 10 years, and it distributes a new board book to each baby born in Black Hawk County in partnership with our two hospitals, Mercy One and Unity Point. The program is designed to get new books into the hands of new parents, along with support material such as these bookmarks, which say reading tips and tricks, funders, and then where you can find more books. Goals of the Books for Babies program are to get books into the hands of new parents, especially in low-income households. Providing them books from birth kind of decreases that hurdle of purchasing the books themselves. As we know, books can be expensive, and we're trying to eliminate that cost for families. We're trying to create awareness about the importance of reading to your children from birth. And then our larger goal is to improve reading proficiency in fourth grade students, because data shows that children who can't read by the end of third grade are 4 times more likely to drop out of school. So the hope for the Books for Babies program is to increase both access to books and awareness of the importance of reading to children to support United Way's larger goal of improving reading proficiency. So how it works is United Way receives funding, and we were fortunate enough to receive funding from the Guernsey Foundation this year to cover part of the cost. And then we partner with Scholastic to receive these books at a discounted rate. We get the bookmarks printed, we print labels on the back to show who our funding sources are. We then distribute them to the local hospitals as needed, and then they disseminate them to the parents of families. So it's a pretty low marketing project, which is really nice for my job. But it's very impactful, and I've seen, you know, the nursing staff at the hospitals raves about the parents' reactions, which is really cool. My niece was born last year, and she received one, so my sister-in-law thought that was really cool. So, any more questions?
How long has this program been in place?
Oh, 10 years.
10
Thank
years.
you for bringing that up. So since its inception, we have given out about 25,000 books.
Thank you. Any other questions? Anybody have questions?
No questions. I appreciate the work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great. All right, Community Christian Development, doing business as House of Hope.
Alrighty, and I actually am not Karen Rowe from the House of Hope. She actually has to step out, but I am a former board member, and I'm currently on her capital campaign. I'm the executive director of One Cedar Valley, so I was after her. Since she had to go, I'm very, very passionate about what we do at the House of Hope and what we've done. She jokes that I'm a lifelong member, so I said, Karen, I will nowhere near be as good as you, but I definitely would want to represent our organization as just having committed over the last 7 years of being a part of the organization. So I'll start with a little bit of our mission about House of Hope. And again, House of Hope, I'll be One Cedar Valley in a minute. So, so the mission of, and I also, if you have questions that I can't answer, I will take them down, and Karen and I'll make sure they get sent back to you. So just want to share that. So House of Hope provides single mother families and women who age out of foster care with individualized support and transitional housing to achieve secure families, independence, and permanent homes. Our vision is to end the cycle of homelessness in the Cedar Valley with respect, empowerment, stewardship, and accountability. And we have been going over 25 years in the Cedar Valley. We started as a small group of community members that were known as the Christian Community Development that decided that we needed a holistic approach for how we served individuals within to address the growing problem of homelessness and single mothers in the Cedar Valley. So we started with a peer support model that really, it worked. We actually seen that, actually coming together and actually bringing them to homelessness and together in community, it actually worked. But the more we wanted to actually make impact, we evolved to having an actual, more of a trauma-informed care model. House of Hope has been a support system for hundreds of families who needed the opportunity to land on their feet. Over the years, House of Hope grew from 7 to 10 families, and in June 2018, we opened our doors to a brand new building, expanding our services to 15 families. And again, board member, I actually got to paint some of the walls in that building that now serves 15 families, and I made my kids come along for the fun. We also added Pillars, a transitional housing program for 5 women at that time who aged out of program. And so I'll talk a little bit about our different programs that we have as well. So I think we're known most for our transitional housing program. And again, that's the one that we started with 8, we went to 10, and now we are able to serve 15 people in our transitional housing program. But what that then did was left us with the building that we had that we owned. And we did some talks and had some conversations with some of our partners and discerned that there was a need for young girls that were aging out of foster care to actually have a place to stay. So now we expanded to not only have our transitional housing program, but to launch our Pillars program, which also allows for young women for 2 years to live in the house that was formerly known as the House of Hope, and that is down in kind of downtown Waterloo. And again, it's been wildly successful. I actually volunteered during their Christmas parties, and we've had young women at the Christmas parties that have never, and again, you're open to serve whatever religion you want, but it's very powerful when they're talking about their future. They're seeing themselves as a place of growth in our community, and they also at that time share that they'd never been at a Christmas party or never had a Christmas tree. And that is one of the small things that we do at the House of Hope that provides, we not only are inspiring hope, but the case management that we provide actually helps young women and their families get there as well. So I'll also talk about our next program that we have, which again, and it's going to be a nice synergy with One Cedar Valley, because that would be our Boost program. And that Boost program is an 8-week career employment program that gives women an opportunity to earn a living wage, employer-paid benefits, and room to grow in a career with one of our community business partners. Again, we hear all the time that employers need employees. Well, we realize that the women that we have, they are a plethora of untapped talent, and they just need a little encouragement, a little bit support, and that's what we give them at the House of Hope. And so some of our partners that we have, we've worked with VGM, we work with several of the nursing homes, and really just gave women an opportunity to try different careers and jobs and see if it likes them. And then again, we had the benefit of a lot of employers then going on and actually hiring the women that we work with. Another program I'll touch on that House of Hope has is our family support and wellness. So again, thinking about this from a comprehensive approach. That's why we say we aren't in the business of rapid rehousing. We actually do transitional housing. And transitional housing, it actually goes more into transformation. Whereas when people get out of poverty, they stay out of poverty, and we have a 93% success rate. So what we're doing and what we have done over the past 25 years is truly working as well. And so Karen has a couple other fun facts that I need to share with you because I get off topic, so she knows I'm doing my job.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we want you to be able to do your presentation too.
Exactly. So she just wanted to make sure that you understood that success, we help by having decent housing that they can afford, employment with a livable wage, reliable transportation, safe childcare, and we provide them and support them to create a financial plan. Because again, it's all about not necessarily giving a handout, but a hand up. And so that financial plan is the way that we help them do that. And so in the last year, we've served 96 families, but in the first 6 months of this fiscal year, we've already served 85 families with our services. So I definitely want to share that as well too. And then our final program I want to share is to talk a little bit about Framing Hope. And that is a program that we do with Habitat for Humanity, where some of our women have actually moved into home ownership. And how empowering is that, to go from a position where maybe you couldn't secure employment, you were fearful of being homeless, to now you actually are a homeowner in our community. And so that's just a little bit, again, just the iceberg of what we do at the House of Hope. We partner with Veridian. We have a Driving Hope program where we help women actually get affordable transportation and many, many things. I often say that House of Hope is really this model for how we can do transformation in our community. And I know I got to talk about my own nonprofit, which I love too, but I also love the House of Hope as well. So
no, I appreciate that. Well, thank you. And if we have questions, we can follow up with Karen or you or whatever too. That'd be great.
All right. And so for me, I actually have a handout that I'll do really briefly.
We've lost, as you know, some of you have seen, some of the supervisors have had different conflicts and had to go to meetings. I think Tavis mentioned he may too.
I'm hard out at 11:30.
But for those of us that won't be here, we will have it on the tape and be able to view that information later. So I just thought if anybody looks like we missed the presentation, we will certainly be able to catch up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm going to switch hats a little bit here, and I'm going to talk about being Joy Briscoe and the Executive Director of One Cedar Valley. So One Cedar Valley is a nonprofit that came together in around 2018, 2019. The inception was from Mayor Hard, the mayor of Cedar Falls, the president of Hawkeye Community College, several leaders of the University of Northern Iowa, and the CEO of the Community Foundation. And it was in response to that report that came out that said Waterloo Cedar Falls was the worst place for blacks. And so what it was what are the things that we need? And so we discovered that in large part, we know that we need to lean into workforce. And so again, so excited at the ideas that they have. So one of the concepts that they had, and I'll talk about it briefly, that we're launching here, is the hub. And so what the hub is going to do is it's going to change the way that we make sure that we have a work-ready community in the Cedar Valley. Right now, if people are seeking services, if you say have food insecurity, if you need your GED, and then you also want to actually get Operation Threshold assistance. Those are 3 to 4 different doors that you have to go to. So imagine you're in crises, but when you're trying to get out of crises, we're referring you to all these different doors. So at One Cedar Valley, what we want to do is serve as the hub for service providers and actually bring those doors to people in need. So if you actually went to the House of Hope, they actually are one of our partners, and you also needed to meet with Hawkeye, the hub will make it so that we have a consortium where Hawkeye will then reach out to you to begin starting service with you before they've even actually had contact with you. The goal of this is to make sure that, again, our community is as work ready as possible. And we know that right now when people go into a workforce, they don't go by themselves. They take things, the barriers that they have with them. And so our thought process was that if we could start by addressing those barriers in a very comprehensive way with a consortium of nonprofit providers. So House of Hope is a member of us, Operation Threshold, Jesse Cosby Center, Hawkeye Community College. We also work closely with you and I and many more. What would that do? How could we make sure that our community is really able to live up to their economic prosperity? So that is one of our programs, the Hub. And I'll be quick because I know we've all been here a long time. Our second program, and probably really where I want to lean into today, is our Shift Youth program. And basically what that does, it's a career technical and education and entrepreneurship program that works with young people and actually gets them into high needs areas in our community. So over the last 4 years, we've worked with over 200 young people to actually get them either into manufacturing, into IT, into healthcare, and things of that nature. What happens is once our high school students actually graduate, we have about an 85-90% success rate that they're either going on to post-secondary education and or they're going on to full-time employment. So again, the things that I love, that I get to talk about the things that we're doing in this community that are very much working to increase economic vitality. Along that line of shift, we recently expanded our partnership with Hawkeye Community College to launch Smart Iowa. And Smart Iowa is scaling manufacturing and renewable resources for Iowa communities. Very, very excited about this. The Department of Labor actually bestowed Hawkeye Community College with a $5 million grant over the next 5 years to educate 5 times more people in our community on Industry 4.0. So Industry 4.0 is manufacturing, it's IT, it's all the things that are almost infrastructure related as we go into the jobs of tomorrow. And we get to be a partner in that. Being a partner in that doesn't mean that we get the financial resources for that, and that's some of why we're actually here to talk to you today, is because we really believe that Smart Iowa, in connection with the Hub and our current SHIFT program, is really going to ignite what we're doing for our workforce, and we're really going to be able to make sure that everybody that wants to be a part of an active workforce in our community can and does have an opportunity and means do so. We're going to have a competitive edge in our community when it comes to preparing people in our community for the jobs of tomorrow. So I'm really, really excited about that. And I'll pause because I've been talking a long time.
You've done 2 presentations.
Yes.
Any questions?
No questions, but I think it's excellent.
This is great. It's good.
Ready, and please let
Thanks
me know.
very much. Thanks for doing both.
I'll watch the rest, I promise.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
That's one thing nice about taping. Is that you can catch
Yes.
up with it if you do have to.
I'm setting up a screen share here because I do have a presentation.
Oh, super.
Make it fast, but Al showed me how to do this.
Oh, that's right. You were in here early. I was going to say you're doing really well.
Let's get to the, there we go. From the beginning, there we are. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having us today. I'm Linda Bowman. I'm the Development Director with the Job Foundation, and I'm very excited to share a little bit about how we fulfill our mission, which is preparing K through 12 students and their families for economic advancement. And this is an entirely local program to the Cedar Valley, and specifically the Waterloo School District. It was founded locally in 2006 by Jennifer Brost. And this is a college picture, I think, of her and her husband, Mike. And it was really born a little bit out of tragedy, but really her heart for people living in lower economic situations and what it would take to give them economic mobility and move them out. Their first child was stillborn. His name was Job.
And that's where the name of the Job Foundation came about. And some people think it's the Job Foundation, but it is Job. And here is a little bit about the program. It is elementary through high school. You are enrolled either from kindergarten through 5th grade. And we have a rolling enrollment period, so you can come in at any time and be enrolled in our program. And you stay through high school graduation is our hope. Again, only in Waterloo schools. And of course, doing the work of helping people break the generational cycle of poverty does not happen overnight. So we do commit to this long-term investment that we're going to equip them with the knowledge, the tools, and the assets that they need to become financially independent adults. So it's really a three-pronged approach. The first is the education component in financial literacy. And depending on what grade level you're in determines how many lessons you're in throughout the school year. Elementary, K through 5, we go into the schools and we meet with them 3 times a year. In middle school, they meet once a week, every Wednesday, after school at the First Congregational Church near downtown. And then in high school, 9th through 12th grades, they're meeting once a month. And our lesson topics are age appropriate, but they kind of cover the gamut of everything you would want to know about finances. So in the early years, they're counting money. They're learning the value of money, a value of the dollar, wants versus needs, wise spending habits, using a debit card, how to balance your checking account, the importance of saving, what interest can do for you, especially compound interest over time, debt and credit, how you build a credit score for yourself, student loans, insurance, taxes, all of that. The second piece that we talked about in our application today is very unique to this program of the Job Foundation, and that is these conditional cash earnings. And what I really love about this is we all learn really well by doing, don't we? So this is the hands-on money management aspect for the children who are enrolled. So based on what grade level you're in, again, you get a baseline amount of money. And that is based on your grades, attendance, and behavior at school because we're partners with the Waterloo School District, and we know that that is critically important to their success later in life. Now, if you go above and beyond our baseline expectation, there's a reward incentive for you. You turn in all A's and B's, you're going to earn more money. Your behavior, your attendance. If you're a perfect attendee at school, you're going to earn more money. And there is a component of required savings. So at every stage, our elementary and middle school students, we just take that 60% of their earnings and put it right away into their personal Job savings account. And then they're left with the 40% to spend. In high school, that's a 50-50 split. But our goal at this time is that every graduate would have a Job savings account of $3,400 at a minimum. And we had 6 graduates in May, and I believe the average was about $5,500 just from that Job savings account. So this is a pretty big, important component. And I will say, this was the fun part, and these pictures are all from just this past Saturday. We do shopping days 3 times a year that are supervised, and this is when they can spend the money that's in their Job checking accounts. And they come in, and on the right, you can see the pictures of volunteers working with the kids, reviewing the spending plans that they have developed based on their wants and their needs at the time, whether they want to buy any gifts, and whether they want to give to charity, because we do talk about the importance of charitable giving throughout life. So they bring everything in, they get a calculator, they get the amount that they have to spend, they have their debit card, then they get to go out shopping, and they can go with their families or their mentor. And this is just a great time for them. And I want to point out Marco in the middle is in middle school, and that's his little brother showing off the Christmas present he's going to get. And I understand this, it's hard to keep a secret before Christmas, but Marco was joyful and told me that he just wanted to pass along kindness, and he was buying a lot of gifts. And I tailed another middle school student, and the first thing he put in his basket were some Barbie dolls, and I thought, I bet that's not for him. And sure enough, he had a long list of cousins he was buying for to celebrate Christmas. So those are fun days 3 times a year. They don't have to spend all their money either. They can skip a shopping day and save that money for later. So if they want to accumulate and buy more gifts at Christmas or bigger items, they can do that. And then the third and critical piece is mentoring. We're a certified Iowa mentoring program. We do ask that our mentors spend 4 hours a month with their mentee and give us a 12-month commitment to do that. Some, like Donna and Kyla in the middle, were together for several years, and Kyla was just one of our graduates in May, and they have a very deep, strong bond. And we know that this helps kids really do better throughout life. They're more likely to graduate. They're more likely to have healthier relationships and lifestyle choices, better behavior, higher college enrollment rates. And we really see this too as just having a cheerleader in your corner, because if you're trying to do something that you haven't seen modeled in your own family, that your own family hasn't been able to get out of, you've got to have hope for that future. So you've got to have some cheerleaders around you who can believe in that. And that will carry on through graduation. It is hard to get out of our program, I have to say. They have some requirements. So they've gone through all these years of learning and doing with their money. And then when they're getting ready to graduate, we ask them to go through a lot of other things, including getting a driver's license, because that's important for getting to work, doing things like completing the FAFSA, for student loans. And even if they don't desire to go to college, we want them to fill out at least one application for that so they know the process. We're trying to build life skills so that they have self-sufficiency and they're not afraid of anything that may come in front of them later in life. We want them registered to vote. We want them current on all lessons. We want them to show us how they're building their credit score already too as they get to this stage of life as well. And then we're just really proud to see the results. Dominica here on the left, this is her at Iowa State, and she is our first college graduate from the program. And these are our 6 graduates from earlier this year. They're all in college right now. And a big reason that's possible for them debt-free is that we have donors who've supported the Job Foundation since the beginning. And a few years ago, they started scholarship funds specifically for Job graduates at ISU, UNI, or Hawkeye. So we have a lot of them taking advantage of that. And as we've looked at this is the first time we've applied for any county funding, but we are trying to broaden our funding base. The community development obviously is something we think we demonstrate and a long-term impact because we're with our students over the course of several years. And we are serving families who are at or below the 150% of the federal poverty guidelines, and that's around $45,000 for a family of 4 right now. Wanted to save a little time for questions. Our Executive Director, Sid McCone, is here. You can see her in the picture. This was with some Thanksgiving family giveaways that we did. We have lots of ways that we support our families throughout the year. And I am fairly new to my position, 7 weeks in, so Sid is the expert. So if you have any questions that stump me, she's going to help us out here.
Do you have any questions for us? We appreciate the opportunity to make this proposal and request.
I don't think I have any questions. It's really interesting. There's been a lot of recent reporting on how cash incentives are actually really highly effective in academics.
I just read that story. The NPR did a really great synopsis. It works.
Right.
Yeah. The facts and figures are there. The data is there. It works.
Very good.
You said started in 2006?
Yes, we've been around since 2006. And we probably have about 15 students who graduated, who started in elementary school and went all the way through. And many of them are in college, are first generation. But that's not the only goal we have for these students. If they choose not to go to college, we just want them to understand the difference between a job and a career. So it's okay to just go have a career, but I want to partner with Joy Briscoe in that SHIFT program she talked about to get our high school students, for those who may not want to go to college.
Thank you. I like the presentation too, so that was good, helpful, very
Well,
helpful too, so thank you.
I wanted you to see some of our students, and since they're in school, we didn't want to pull them out, so
Yeah.
this is the next best thing.
No, I don't have any questions either.
Nope.
You don't? Well, thank you both very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The River Arc, I believe is patiently waiting, so thank you.
Good morning, Board. Thank you for having me today to present about the River Arc. I am Julie Molisho, born and raised in Congo, and we relocated in America in 2010, and I didn't speak any English. I am married and the mother of 2 boys. My husband and I moved to Iowa, Waterloo, Iowa in 2014 from Champaign, Illinois. I am one of the Congolese community and church leaders here in the Cedar Valley and the founder of the River Arc. I am a former Tyson French interpreter and currently work as a community health worker with the public health. I speak French, Swahili, Lingala, and English. Being a refugee and immigrant in a country that speaks a different language, with a different system, culture, and where every little detail is managed by a very complex system is challenging. The River Arc is a non-profit organization created and designed to provide culturally specific help to the community of refugees and immigrants, mostly from DRC, but also from other French-speaking countries. Like Togo, we have Cameroon, Ivory Coast, Chad, Gabon, Senegal, and we also have some Haitian and Liberian. As a refugee, I experienced first-hand struggle of navigating a new language, new culture, new system. Because of the language barrier, I was not able to navigate the healthcare system, school, social, or on any other system. I remember going to the emergency room from any little health issue. I didn't know about preventive care. I didn't know about what urgent care was and how it was important to establish a doctor and a dental home. I learned in a hard way from my own struggles. My family was among the first group of the Congolese who relocated to Waterloo in 2014 for employment opportunity. And my husband and I was the only one who were able to understand a little English. And we have all this community to help. So we started helping with some of the needs, but we were quickly overwhelmed because of the fast-growing members of the community. We realized that starting an organization will be the best option to help address some of these needs. So in 2018, we started an organization named You Are Not Alone. But I could not get further since I didn't have a 501c3 document yet. In 2021, we changed the name of the organization and were able to apply for the 501c3, and we got it in May 2022 and start applying for some funds. Before I start the River Arc program, I would like to tell you a story about what we're doing so you have a better idea of what I'm doing. It's a story of, it's Naomi's story. Naomi and her husband relocated from Congo to Waterloo in 2022 for employment opportunity. They were housed in a hotel, and Naomi was pregnant and sick. She didn't speak any English, didn't have transportation, food, and she was desperate. Then they contacted us. I went to meet with them in the hotel and assess their needs. This is what I found. She needed a community because as an immigrant, we live in the community. We don't live alone. So we were able to connect them to a family that speaks their language. She needed health care. She was pregnant. She needed to find a doctor. We were able to find her an OB doctor that would help her through her pregnancy. She needed food. We were able to find them a family that already lives here to help them with food. Transportation, I was the driver, I was the interpreter, I was doing everything. She needed also care coordination. We were able to help her establish a dental and doctor home. Interpretation, like I said, I was the interpreter and the driver. We refer her to Operation Threshold for more assistance. Naomi had a baby 5 months ago. They have a place to live now. They bought a car and they learned how to drive due to the River Arc help. This is what the River Arc is about. We work to remove barriers that prevent our community from accessing resources and services and fill the gap between services. We strive to try not only to provide them with information, but information about resource and service, but also help them to navigate through that process by providing interpretation, translation services in the native languages, and sometimes on transportation. We work as a cultural broker between the community that we represent while educating stakeholder organization in Black Hawk County regarding the best approach to take while helping immigrant and refugee community. The River Arc works to accomplish its mission through 4 main programs. We have a direct services. We do case management, interpretation, advocacy, reading mail, offer wrap around services. We do a lot of education because we feel like education is the key. So we do health, wellness education, healthcare system, health insurance, maternal health, preventive care, and sometimes we do workshop about mental health. We help them also with financial literacy. This year I was able to have Green States, Veridian, coming at church and give us like a little education about financial literacy. But we also working with Iowa Extension to help out with more education the next year. We are planning to start an ESL class, French class for our children, because we noticed that most of our children, they only speak English. And we believe that languages are skills, and we want them to keep up with it. And the best way to help them with that, we're planning to start a French classes, and we have already people we help with that. We also planning to start like a mentoring and after school program. I also do women empowerment. As African woman, I know the place of women in our community, now in my society. And I feel like I am the best person to help them because maybe the husband are not gonna do it. But if I do it, it's gonna have more sense and more impact in their life. What I'm doing, I'm helping them by promoting entrepreneurship and leadership. I help them to increase like access to opportunity. Pregnancy and breastfeeding support and the formal home visit. So like if I heard that a Congolese is pregnant, I'm doing home visit just to double check what are her questions, what she needs, and what resource we have available so I can connect her with those resources. We also do informal counseling and service referral. We also start a garden project with the help of the Black Hawk Public Health and the UNI. So we develop I try to help them to cultivate a healthy eating. I try to promote food access, and our goal is to start to develop a culturally relevant food market where we can not just produce food, but being able to sell it to the community around here. How are these programs implemented? We have our 3 objectives. I'm not going through all of them because of the time, but the first one is building trusting relationship. The second one is family networking, and the third one is adult learning family service, like I explained earlier. The River Arc is currently helping over, on average, 55 families, means more than 250 people. You may ask me how I'm doing it. Every week I'm in contact at least with 200 people from my community, from church, from public health, from everywhere. So I'm in contact direct with them every time. So what I can say again, it's just thank you. Thank you for allowing me to tell you more about the River Arc and considering our funding requests. If funded, we'll use this fund to hire a part-time caseworker to help the River Arc fulfill its mission of empowering and enriching the life of immigrant refugees by giving them the tool and connecting them to the resource and services available in the community, but also help them with administration and of the organization. Thank you so much, and I'm open to any question.
Thank you.
Oh, right now it's you and your husband that are...
My husband, I have Helen here too, who's working like a community health worker. We have a group of volunteers since we don't have a lot of funding, so it's just volunteering. We can wait for funding, but it's people need, so it's not gonna wait. So we already start offering some of those services.
And I noticed you mentioned in the application as far as partnerships, several partnerships, and you mentioned
Yes.
the public health.
Yes,
department.
public health. Since I work for the public health, I have a great leadership who that not only support me at work, but even outside of work. So we have partnership with them, and we also sorry, let me find this. We also work, like, sorry, I just want to make sure that I see what I'm saying, I'm correct. Community Foundation, we're able to apply for Community Foundation, and we got some of the fund there. We were able to apply for Delta Dental of Iowa, and we were able to find some money there too. We tried to apply for Tyson, but we were not successful this year. We try next year. I'm trying to strengthen relationship with stakeholder here. I'm working also closely with Unit Point. For they hire some of the Congolese, so I'm offering them interpretation so they can have in-person interpreter. Yeah.
Very busy.
That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any questions?
No questions. You're doing excellent work.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Looks like we're. Ta-da, right?
W is here.
This is great.
Hi, my name's Karen Everling. I'm Executive Director of the World Grace Project. Julie and I have known each other for a while. The work she's doing is very important. We are a secondary resettlement site for refugees primarily, and we are going to be getting primary resettlement services, but the reality is that people like Julie, they serve their communities, and that's the work that I see happening all the time. And so when I established World Grace Project, it was not to duplicate what's been done, but to get behind leaders like that and make sure that they're resourced properly and that they're able to help because they're working their butts off. So the mission at World Grace Project is to empower those leaders to resource, develop, and integrate the refugee and immigrant community towards self-sufficiency in the Cedar Valley. Just as a matter of transparency, I like to talk a little bit about myself since I am working with a vulnerable population. I've lived and worked in the Cedar Valley for over 20 years. I had a photography studio on Main Street for 10 years. And so I'm very business-minded. I saw the work connections that could be happening with the immigrant community, and that's where when I started volunteering at all the various organizations, I was able to take a VISTA position and work exclusively for a year with the immigrant community, and I absolutely fell in love with this population. And as you know, if you know the census data, this is the population that's growing here. The white population has declined, and we're receiving new people right now. So I started working with one population last year, but in December I found out we are actually now in the middle of a migration, a rather large migration happening for work opportunity here. And we went from, we are primarily serving the Haitian community. There's a new Haitian community that has resettled here. When we started last December, there was about 15. I'm pretty sure there's 700 to 1,000 Haitian community here now. So that's a lot of new people in a small amount of time. The population that we're serving is on humanitarian parole, which is, you would be familiar with Afghan and Ukraine. There is no controlled flow of traffic for that group. It's not like refugees where we resettle them and we know how many are coming. It's different. So we are seeing a massive amount of numbers, which then led us this year to be able to apply to the state for funds. So we're partnered with the Iowa Bureau of Refugee Services, which has been fantastic. They are a great team, and they are helping us a ton. We, out of this year, have birthed a supportive housing program. The state has given us $100,000 to dish out that has to go directly to rental assistance here. Those are Office of Refugee Resettlement funds that we are finding appropriate people that fall within the scope of the funding to hand that out. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, I deal with more barriers than getting people to work, you know, including the transportation, childcare, the language barrier. And so really what we've been trying to do is navigate that and figure out how to work with all the appropriate partners, for which there are many good organizations already doing this work. So that's always been something I've been looking for, is who's doing the work? How do I not duplicate it, but how do I find out, are they still doing the work? Because with the previous migration, some of the churches that were helping last time, they're not doing it this time. So a lot of what we're doing is kind of rekindling all the previous people that were working with these populations and helping them get started again. So as we're moving forward this year, we're really looking to expand capacity. I've been told by the state that we can expect twice as many people this year as last year, which makes my heart stop because our organization's been through a lot this year. It's been very, very hard what we've been doing. And we've been dealing with a lot of homelessness, mostly because when you're on humanitarian parole, you don't have a work permit yet. You have to still apply for a work permit. So we get them in, we apply for a work permit, it's 6 to 8 weeks, we can get them on public benefits to get them going, but the goal is to get them to work as soon as possible, which requires a lot of paperwork, which is very, very hard. In fact, the state is now calling us to ask us how to do this with other Haitians that are resettling around Iowa. So I think we can expect that crowd to continue to grow. I like to look at the past to see what might happen now. So we know that we have a well-resettled Bosnian community who are investors here. In 2010, 2012, the Myanmar and the Congolese community began to resettle. So now Julie is adding to her community. They already had a community here. That's why her organization is also so very important. So I believe, the Haitian community is going to look very similar. The difficulty is we have to do a lot of work right now because our capacity just went from, 20 clients to potentially 700. Will we be able to serve all those people? No. Right now, our staff is myself. I have a resource coordinator who I hired out of the Bosnian community. We just had another gal come on. She's going to be part-time. A driver. The state has given us some access to resources there. So she's out of the Congolese community. The majority of people that I hire don't look like me. They look like the community, and it works really well. It's a great partnership. We have a good partnership going. So I plan to continue to do that, but we want to hire a housing coordinator because this housing stuff is crazy. We've been helping the landlords. We've been listening to problems. We've been creating solutions, but there's just not enough of us to go around, and I don't foresee any of that dwindling in the next year. I foresee it probably picking up. So our housing coordinator would be really responsible for helping us dole out those funds, pre-qualifying them. If they don't have the deposit in the rent, that's one of the hard things. If they don't have proof of income, they can't even rent a place. So we've been standing in that gap. We have a transitional home. We had a landlord say, I'll buy you a home. And we have a 3-unit transitional home that's all filled with Haitians right now. We're only, they're not having to sign a lease. They're just coming and being a part of our programming. And within 3 months, we try to help them find a new place. At that time, they can show proof of employment and get a place to live. The transitional housing model, I think, is working really well. I like to say, because our partners at the state say, we sometimes have to build the plane while we're flying it, which is not fun. That's what humanitarian parole has forced us to do, but I feel like I have a really good team. We're all very solution-minded, and we've been providing a lot of care. Housed 47 people so far, seen over 200 families, which is households, since January. And most of that has happened since April, to be honest. So if we get another coordinator, we could serve more additional cases that are what I would call like deep case management. So, yeah. And a lot of the things we're doing, very similar to Julie, but again, I can't stress how important it is to have people like Julie. The leaders that work with me are also leaders. I have a leader from the Congolese community. He has a church. There's about 6 churches in the Congolese community. So we like to see that expansion. We love to see those groups because they thrive and they live in community. They learn together. So we like to promote that as much as possible. So that's just, I feel like we've been here forever, so I don't want to take any more of your time. But
how many staff do you have that when you say
So-
about what you're doing?
I'm full-time. Harissa's nearly full-time. She's about 30 hours a week right now. I have 5 AmeriCorps Vista. So 2 are from the Haitian community, 1 from the Congolese community. I have 1 media director, and then I have someone that just moved here to create a partnership with the schools. I've been working with Irving School. and we're working on solutions for communication. There's a lot, I mean, I get calls from the school every day. So we're working on solutions. We're like, if you look at the work side of things, so Tyson has people during the day, we have them every other hour of the day. We're trying to create that circle of community care as much as possible and advocate for the community. So, yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No,
that you
no
have?
questions, but this is excellent, critical work for the community. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for
thank
sure.
you. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
very much. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah.
Thanks for thanks for hanging in there and still coming and presenting. So thank you. Well, I think we've gone through. Like I said, we had about 22 applicants earlier. There were a few that I guess we had to change because they were capital improvement types of projects. But we've been through everything, and once the other supervisors can catch up with the last of the video here too and see these, I would assume maybe sometime right after the first of the year or something, we'll be making some decisions. And we'll get back to you and in touch. Or if we have any questions, or you do for us too, please reach out and follow up with us. We'd be happy to answer any questions for you. But thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
We appreciate it. And thank you for staying
So much.
for so long.
Thanks so much. Yeah, great project. Well, adjourn, huh? I guess I don't even need to ask for a motion for it.
I guess there's no
two of
real
us here to do
motion.
it. So
You've been unofficially.
well, I don't know. I haven't heard from